Elton John said Saturday night's all right for fighting. And here in Kentucky, it's also the night for side-by-side racing, as IZOD IndyCar points leader Will Power looks to hold on to his lead over rival Dario Franchitti, who had a big win last weekend. And keep an eye on Ed Carpenter. The Indy native finished a career-high second here a year ago and starts tonight from the pole. Welcome to Kentucky, where horsepower has a whole different meaning. Down in Louisville, Churchill Downs is stop number 1 on a certain Triple Crown. But tonight, Kentucky Speedway is the first of the final 3 oval races to crown the 2010 IZOD IndyCar season champion. Welcome to IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone, where we will set the stage for tonight's 200-lap race. I'm Lindy Thaxton, located here in the IZOD fan zone at Kentucky Speedway. We have 3 more ovals to go, all 1.5 miles, just like Chicagoland last weekend. We got a good crowd out here today, huh? Last weekend, no doubt, was a good race. There were 11 different leaders, 25 different lead changes. In the end, Dario Franchitti leads the final 27 laps. With his win, he cuts Will Power's point lead from 59 down to 23. Well, let's get started tonight with a fan favorite who led 10 laps last week.
Sarah Fisher is at the front of the field. The first laps that she has led since Kentucky 2002. Ryan Briscoe goes to the front.
Boy, Sarah Fisher likes that clean air. She's staying there, and she looks in the mirror and says, wow.
3 wide racing at Chicagoland Speedway. Sarah Fisher hanging in there in second position. She just will not give up. Way to go, Sarah.
It's just so much fun to be able to get out there and run a fun. And Kerry Hall's been fueling for us this whole year, and with his ALS battle, I'm just really happy we have a wonderful group of people.
This is his last race. Kerry Hall, we wish you the best, and thank you for your service to Sarah Fisher Racing.
And Sarah Fisher joins us now here on set, but I understand that he is making an encore this weekend.
He is. You know, he came back to run Graham's car. We were very excited to put Graham in the second Service Central car, so I think it's going to be a good night.
Let's talk about back in 2000. That was a good year here for you. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I know. Being on the podium was just an impressive run, and still holding the track record. You know, I can't say so much for my fans here in Kentucky Speedway. They're my short track fans, and it's just awesome to be here with them.
Yeah, you said that this is one of your favorite places to come.
It absolutely is. I mean, you know, it's been a long time, you know, being here for 10 years, and I just couldn't be more happy, you know, to have the support of someone like Dollar General to keep me, bringing me back.
Is this a 3-year anniversary for that?
It is the 3-year anniversary. They brought me here in 2008 when we had some struggles after the Indy 500, and so they're back here tonight watching with us instead of Atlanta, so we're real excited about that.
How'd you feel leading last week?
It was exhilarating. I had so much fun, and, you know, I had some great pit stop strategy. My husband Andy was calling the race for me, so it was just a fantastic time, and I hope we can do that again tonight.
Well, good luck tonight. We're going to let you get over to driver intros, and we are now going to go to Jack Arute, who's with Tony Kanaan.
Not quite as much cheering going on, strictly because of the fact that we're getting ready for driver introductions. They're going wild for Sarah Fisher out there, but I want to talk about what happened earlier in qualifying with Tony Kanaan. You had what they call a huge moment. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was a big one, but it wasn't bigger than my teammate Hunter Ray. So we pretty much running the same setup, and he was 2 cars ahead of me, and unfortunately he crashed. And we kind of overreacted it a little bit, and we didn't want to crash the car, and we took a bunch of front wing out, and I actually, instead of backing into the wall, I almost went head on. So it was definitely not the right choice.
So you're now in the back along with your teammate Ryan Hunter Ray. Are you going to treat us to the same sort of thrilling start that you did at Chicago?
What else is new? I'm in the back again, right? So Indy, Chicago, so you can watch. I can't promise anything because you don't have a control against the other guys, but I'm going forward.
Watch Tony Kanaan. He'll be carving his way to the front. Let's go to Robbie Floyd.
You might want to watch out, Jack, or TK may want to watch out because Paul just told me you're going to put a hook on him, right?
Yeah, well, TK, I know that after watching the start last week, if he comes by me, I'm just going to throw a hook onto the back of his car and just let him pull me around. But, it's great to be back in the car with DNR, and I got to thank Motegi Racing Wheels. And we got a lot of people here from Dad's and Valspar, so we're hoping for a good night.
A lot of Paul Tracy fans out there. It's been a while since you won an oval. When was the last time?
I don't even remember. It's been a while, but I've won plenty of oval races. But it's been a little while.
In Milwaukee, I think you won several times. We're talking about putting that back on the schedule again. Tell me about the car. A new team. It's got to be tough with this limited practice schedule.
Yeah, it was tough yesterday. We rolled off the truck, Justin and I, and we were a little bit off on the setup, both of us, and we got the range short in practice, and then it was straight into qualifying. We threw some more setup at it. It was better, but not good enough. And then in the warm-up, we got an extra half an hour, and the car, we got it better, working better in the traffic. So, we just like Justin did last week. You just sit there and wait, and run the best race you can, stay in contention, and he pulled out a top 10 last week, a 7th. So that's what our plan is.
Your car handling good? You say I've heard that it didn't have the top speed, but if it handles well, maybe you can get up there.
Yeah, top speed in relation to the red cars is a relative thing. I think we're pretty racy with the cars we're going to be racing. The groups like KV and AGR, I think we can run with those guys. So, if we have a nice clean night, nice pit stops, hopefully we can pull out of here with a top 10.
A funny thing, Lindy Thaxton, I said, "You're going to be aggressive off the start?" He says, "I'm always aggressive."
Yeah, I was going to say, we knew what he was going to say to that. Thank you, Robbie. This is Tracy's first start on a 1.5-mile oval since 2005 in Las Vegas. He only has 13 career starts on this type of track, where he had led 6 times, but also has 7 DNFs. His best finish was at Homestead in 1997 when Tracy finished second to Michael Andretti. And don't forget, later in the show, we will talk to both Will Power and Dario Franchitti about how this title chase is tightening up. Well, Graham Rahal was a late add to Sarah Fisher's team this week and will also start in the back at 25th. Last week in Joliet, Robbie Floyd got a tour with Graham's father, Bobby, of some special Rahal memorabilia.
So this is the Rahal Man Cave. I've heard about it, but I finally get to see it.
Yeah, that's what Graham calls it. You don't see new cars here per se. It's all stuff from when I was a teenager, when I really followed racing. My dad raced as an SCCA racer, and so for me, from probably the early 60s to the early to mid 70s, that's pretty much everything that's in here, and that's kind of the era that, I've got a Cobra, I've had Shelby Mustangs, it's all that stuff that when you were a kid, you thought, man, that's got to be the car to have.
All right, tell me about this place, though. It's the man cave, but in a bigger picture, this is a dream.
Well, this Audubon Country Club, about 15 years ago, this fellow came to me and said, I want to start a country club, but for guys with cars rather than golf clubs. And, I wanted a place where we could all be. We could all come and play with the cars and make it a man cave, a place where the guys go for a Saturday or a Sunday and, bench race. This is about the Rahal racing family. And so who knows how long we'll have this. Maybe his son will race one day.
It's a lot of fun truthfully, to wake up to the sound of a race car is pretty cool. And so to be able to sit outside, eat some breakfast and watch race cars, I don't know, there's nothing better than that to me.
IndyCar Central pre-race is presented by Firestone, the first name in Indy racing.
Welcome back to IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone, where we are getting ready for tonight's 300-mile race. This is the 11th time that we have raced here. There have been 8 different winners. Only Buddy Lazier and Sam Hornish Jr. have been repeat winners here. And it was here back in 2005 that Scott Sharp, driving for Adrian Fernandez, won ahead of Vitor Mira and Dan Weldon. It was the last of 9 victories for Sharp in the series, and it's significant because it was the last time a team other than Penske, Ganassi, or Andretti won on an oval. In the 52 oval races since, Ganassi drivers have won 22 races, while Penske and Andretti have each won 15. And once a driver for Andretti and also for Ganassi, Dan Weldon was a part of that streak. Well, now that he's with Panther Racing, he's hoping to end that same streak that he was a part of. After a second-place finish in Chicago last weekend, look for Dan to be heading towards the front here today. Jack Arute caught up with the driver of the National Guard car.
And Lindy, we've caught up with Dan Weldon as he's meeting with National Guards folks, not only here at the Kentucky Motor Speedway, but also in Afghanistan via satellite, Dan.
Yeah, for me, I'm blessed to drive the number 4 National Guard Panther Racing car, and to represent such a great group of soldiers, for me, is an honor and a privilege. They, you know, it's great to be a race car driver, and it's great to be able to do what I love to do, but when you hear what these soldiers do to protect the United States of America and the way they go about doing it, it's truly, for me, a great experience. You know, I've become friends with a lot of the soldiers, whether they, you know, have just been deployed or have come back, and to be able to do things like this is, you know, for me, a phenomenal experience. They're certainly very, very tough people. It's that never say die attitude that they have, and you know, I'm just proud to be part of it, because, like I say, with these soldiers that we have representing the United States of America, we have nothing to fear, because they're a great group.
These guys had to be amped up, too, with the way you finished at Chicago last week and with the way you and your teammate have performed here at Kentucky. Did any of the National Guards people from Afghanistan give you or Ed any advice for tonight?
You know, the soldiers told me to be really, really aggressive, because no matter who I upset on the racetrack, they told me that, you know, whoever's man's going to have to go through the soldiers first to get to me. So no, it's been a great qualifying for everybody at Panther Racing, with Ed in the Fuzzy's vodka car on the pole and me third. But we all understand that we need to be in victory lane, and that's what we're going to work hard to do. And you know, certainly all the soldiers that are overseas that watch us, and all the soldiers that come to the different races to, you know, support us, they deserve that. So we're going to be working very hard to make that possible.
Lindy, if this guy wins tonight, it'll be a cheer that'll be heard around the world.
Certainly will. And while we have a moment, Jack, we want to welcome all of you in uniform stationed around the world watching us tonight via the American Force Network. We are truly honored for your service and all that you do. Thank you so much. Among Dan's career highlights, by the way, are 15 IndyCar Series wins, including the Indy 500 back in 2005. That was the year that he won the overall championship, by the way. Weldon hasn't won since 2008, but he has finished runner-up at the last 2 Indy 500s. Ryan Hunter-Reay starts 27th tonight after a qualifying crash. Currently a career-high 6th in points. He's only 6 points behind Helio Castroneves for a top 5 finish in the overall standings. But Helio starts up in 8th tonight. This is IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone.
Bye.
Welcome back to Kentucky, where Bengals wide receiver Terrell Owens is getting ready to take a 2-seater ride around this track with 2-time Indy 500 winner Arie Luyendyk in the IZOD 2-seater. T.O. will take to the track right after the command. Not a bad seat. Well, last week's race in Chicago kicked off 4 consecutive ovals to finish out this 2010 season, and Will went into the race last weekend with a sizable 59-point lead over 2-time series champion Dario Franchitti. Both Will and Dario were 2 of the 11 leaders in that race last weekend, and in the end, the final pit stop turned a runaway title race into a much closer one.
Watch Will Power. He gets a little bit high, starts to get loose. Look how sideways that car gets.
Will Power is the leader. Pit lane.
Dario Franchitti does not take tires.
Franchitti is going to be power out.
If they told Will Power that he does not have enough fuel to make it to the end, he's going to have to put a smile on your face. You never know. You know, we'll see.
Look at this, 4 wide. Racing just doesn't get any better than this. 17 cars on the lead lap, and 13 of them are within a second. Dario Franchitti leads Weldon, Power, Canaan, and Andretti.
Now it's easy. It's going to be short fuel.
Major implications perhaps in the point championship as the leader comes in, leaving the battle on the racetrack. Dan Weldon finished second in Indianapolis. That's where he's running now. Marco Andretti looks to the high side.
Come on, buddy. Bring it home. Come on.
It's going to be Dario Franchitti winning with Dan Weldon second.
Whoever told them don't take tires was yours, boys.
they pulled my ass out of the fire again tonight. That's why I love driving for this team. You just never give up.
We had an issue with the equipment and we didn't get enough fuel in the car.
I was looking good there before that last stop, man. I'm like, as long as I'm leaning at the end, like they can't get by me, but that's racing.
So with Dario's win combined with Will's worst finish of the year of 16th, Power's points lead was cut from 59 points down to 23, more than half. Scott Dixon sits in third, 85 points back. In each race, 50 points are awarded to the winner, 40 to second and 35 to third place. The 27th place driver in today's race will earn at least 10 points. 1 bonus point is awarded to the pole winner, while 2 bonus points go to the driver who leads the most laps. Now, the best oval finish for Will Power is 5th. Dario Franchitti has never finished better than 6th here at Kentucky, but if he can win back-to-back races or even finish 2nd versus Will's best oval finish, as we said, that's 5th, Dario could reduce the points lead to single digits with 2 races to go. And here is Robbie Floyd right now with Will Power.
Will had a disappointing finish last week. Comes off the track trying to keep that composure, but you had something to say for radio. I think that made a statement for this week.
As much as Dario kind of clawed into your lead, as good as you ran tonight, do you think you can keep with him at Kentucky next weekend?
Mate, I will. I will go back to win that race. I'm sorry, but I will.
You don't have to be sorry to tell us you're going to win that race. You were trying to win that race last week. You did everything you could. If it wasn't for the fueling mishap, how could you have done any better?
Yeah, I know. It was a fun race, and I had, I gained lots of confidence and experience, and, obviously it's tough to say you will win, but, I was just like, that was a bad race. I want to come back, get that Verizon car up the front, win in Kentucky. But, man, I was going to do my best tonight. I'll be really happy with the podium.
I thought you were tremendously composed, but looking forward, you can't look back. 23 points. If I said at the start of this season you had a 23-point advantage with 3 races left, you'd be loving it.
Yeah, I would. Yep. And, we're still ahead, so you don't need to panic, don't need to do anything stupid. Just need to race how I've been racing.
5 race wins this year, looking for number 6, Jack, and maybe his first ever on an oval.
And we're going to give everybody a treat because they are right now introducing Dario Franchitti, and we're going to walk across the stage with Dario in the Dixie Cup Special. You'll hear the cheers as it comes out. Just the congratulations. And Dario, let me ask you a question real quick as we go through the receiving line. This championship chase, it got turned upside down last week. Now what are you going to do?
Just keep focusing on our stuff, see if we can get this Dixie car to the front and try and win another race, Jack. It's the only way we're going to do it. Just focus on our own stuff and keep our heads down.
So just race for the win. Don't worry about Will.
Don't worry about him. Just do what we've done all the time. Focus on our own stuff.
Lindy, how lighthearted is Dario Franchitti? You see, he's sponsored by Dixie Cup. Everybody's making fun of him, saying it's actually a tribute to his teammate, Scott Dixon, that's known by everybody as Dixie. Good job out of you, Dario.
Good luck to you today, Dario.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that pretty funny? I was thinking that, too. Thank you so much, Jack. Well, with his win in Chicago, combined with Scott Dixon's 8th-place finish, Dario took over the points lead in the A.J. Foyt Trophy standings, honoring the top oval driver of 2010. The oval champion will be decided in 2 weeks at Motegi. And earlier today, the Firestone Indy Lights took to the track. They only have 1 more race after this one. Pippa Mann was in pole position to start this one out. Take a look at this on lap 2. Yeah, a big crash involving Philip Major, Stephen Wilson, and Daniel Harrington. All 3 drivers were sent to the medical center, and they have all been released, and they are okay. Pippa still leading from the pole. You see there, she just commanded this race. She led from flag to flag. Her first win in Firestone Indy Lights. James Hinchcliffe comes in 2nd. J.K. Vernay comes in 3rd. Vernay is 1 start away from clinching the Firestone Indy Lights championship. All he has to do, really, is start at Homestead. When we come back, an up-close look at Ed Carpenter. A year ago, Ed finished a career-high 2nd at Kentucky. Tonight, he starts on the pole for the first time in search of his first career win. This is IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone.
Ed Carpenter challenging the leader. Carpenter trying to get the lead from Will Power.
It's likely the most important pit stop of Ed Carpenter's If they go nose to tail, they might be able to pull it off. Oh! There goes your wingman.
Way up high. Carpenter will not give up. You got to be impressed with Ed Carpenter.
Duking it out with Team Penske. Briscoe doesn't have any overtake button, pushes left. Carpenter has 2. The rule changes are working.
Wheel to wheel through the corners. They come off of corner 4 at the line. It's going to be Briscoe.
What does he bring for Ed Carpenter? Best ever.
Ed Carpenter led 34 laps here last year. He also had his best finish ever of 2nd. After racing full-time for more than 6 seasons, though, his race team suspended operations back in January. Ed did race this year's Indy 500. He's returned to start in 3 of the last 4 races of the year. So what does an Indianapolis born and raised driver do when he's off the track? We found out this week.
All right, so we're going to pick McKenna up from school. She goes 3 days a week. Number one, there's no passing in the carpool line. The head of the school's name's Joni, and she's probably as strict as Barnhart's been in race control this season. I haven't even tried to break any of the rules. I haven't tried to pass in line just because I don't want to know what the consequences are. Hey, monkey.
All right. I'm sitting with Mama.
Did you have an accident? Did you have fun today? So much for me thinking you were going to be shy around the camera, McKenna. What's your boyfriend's name, McKenna?
Ezzy.
Do you like Ryan or Ezzy better?
Ezzy.
Ezzy. Did you hear that, Ryan? Ryan Hunter Ray's after my daughter. You're in 2nd place. There's a lot of great things about being a driver, but you can't beat this time with your daughter, that's for sure. You want me to carry your bag, or are you going to carry it?
She's always been able to help when I need help.
No. I do dishes, I clean toilets. I've kind of become known as a handyman. I think I did all the tile work and all the bathrooms.
He can fix about anything.
Hold on, I got to do this real quick. Go talk to Mommy. You know, we don't have much help with the kids. You know, drive normal cars, don't have a fleet of cars. I don't need a car payment, so I was just like, you know, what the heck, I'll drive this. You know, it's not that big of a deal what I drive. It gets me where I need to go, so it's not fancy, but it works.
What kind of ice cream are we going to get? Chocolate and pink. I think the biggest thing is people are surprised how normal and down to earth he is. I think it frustrates me more than anything is people think that he, because of who his family is or whatever, he is a certain way or has lived this life or whatever, but he's one of the most normal people you'll ever meet.
Go to sporting events, take my kids to basketball games and stuff, you know, just like I did when I was little. So just kind of do the same things that I've always done. So here we are in legendary Hinkle Fieldhouse. You know, the historic season here last year with the team going all the way to the national championship. For me being a grad, you know, it was a lot of fun, you know, seeing a lot of great games here, but last year was extra special. These are my seats. I got 12 and 13 all season long, and part of who I am going to this school. It's a great basketball school. You know, this is a great place to watch basketball. This is where I grew up, this, you know, Washington Township here, so we wanted to be in this area. It's a nice place to live.
People have always say, once you have kids, does your mindset change on the racetrack? But I think it was kind of the opposite.
You know, I'm a race car driver. I don't have a desire to do anything else. For me, having kids, you know, I don't think it slowed me down. It's just given me that much more, you know, desire to be successful and, you know, get going full time again, you know, to make sure I can put money away for college for these guys and stuff like that, and, you know, make sure they're taken care of. You stink. All right, looks like we gotta go. Little man's got a dirty diaper, so see you guys later.
Oh, yeah, we know all about Mr. Poopy Pants in the Floyd household. I've got a 2- and a 5-year-old. We're coming out with these, selling them in the souvenir stands next week. What do you think?
Your kids' poop must stink more than mine. If you got to wear the mask, I don't know.
Oh, their stuff stinks. Don't think they do. I know your dad and all.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Now, looking at family, I'm thinking of where was your mom and Tony George yesterday when you have this great moment, you take your first ever pole. Where were they?
They were back in Indy. Tony came up but had to go back for some meetings. They missed it, but they're here now, so that's what's important.
How incredible was it? Did they call you, or did you talk to them first?
They had got me messages before I got back to my phone, but I talked to them pretty soon after I got back to my phone, so it was a special day, but, you know, tonight's what it's all about.
Now, watching that piece, you know, we saw Butler, and we saw what Butler did last year in basketball, come up a little short. Does that kind kind of play in your mind at all when you were watching that game going, I was the underdog last year at Kentucky. I could have won. I could have done it.
It was different, but I threw a Butler logo on the car today anyway just to see if it'll give us that little bit of extra what we need.
All right, tell me about the car. You have a teammate to work with, a very fast teammate, qualifies third. Does that help? It has to, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Dan's been a great teammate, you know, just being a part of the Panther team, working with the National Guard, everybody, you know, it really lifts you up and helps you do special things. So hopefully we can carry on through tonight.
Many people were surprised as you can just jump into a car and go out there and do as well as you did both last week and this. Were you surprised at all yourself?
I mean, I don't want to sound cocky, but not really. You know, I've been so excited to get back in the car for whatever race I'm going to do that, you know, you gotta take the opportunities you get and make the most of them. So that's all I'm trying to do.
Just a few feet away from a win last year. What did you learn from last year's race?
Just, you know, how to run with the big boys and the confidence to know that I can do it. So hopefully we'll just do a little bit better tonight.
Amazing. Ed Carpenter starts on the pole. He has a pole, his first ever. Will he get his first ever win, Lindy Thaxton, tonight?
We'll see, but Robbie, save that mask and give it to me later since I have to share a rental car with you. Thank you very much, Robbie. Catch you later. All right, back to something serious now. Choosing how much downforce you use on these ovals is a pretty big deal because you can either have a great race or you can have a 300-mile struggle the entire time. Let's head down to Jack Root in our Performance Pit Center.
So what is the difference, Lindy, between high downforce and low downforce? About, 30 pounds of drag and over 200 pounds of downforce. But at Chicago, we had some teams that elected to go with low downforce. Almost all the teams here, because of the bumpy nature of the Kentucky Speedway, are going with high downforce. Let me show you how you can tell if they're using the high downforce application. Of course, wing angle and ride height come into play, but I want you to look at cars when they go out in this rear area. What it involves is called a side pod extender that extends the side pod with this piece of carbon fiber and then what's called a tire kickup. Here's the way it looks on the car itself. It creates an extension of the side pod, increases the available downforce, and creates more grip in the corners. I checked with most of the teams tonight. Because of the bumpy nature, they're all going with the high downforce. But they can still reduce a little downforce by utilizing ride heights and wing angles within the rules. But because of the bumpy nature of the racetrack, you got to be careful with your ride heights or you'll bottom out.
Thank you, Jack. Tonight is the 200th race in the history of the IZOD IndyCar Series. 86 of those races have had a margin of victory less than 1 second. And 42 different drivers have won at least one IndyCar race. Moments ago, the drivers present and past gathered for a special group photo to commemorate this occasion. Pretty cool. This is IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone. Stick with us. We're back in just a second.
Your country.
Look at how many cars still have a shot in this race. Look at them slice and dice. Tony Kanaan going to the low side.
You're hanging on for your life every lap there. There's no way to hide. You're running 3 abreast into the corner, 15 cars all together. Yeah, it's great, but I mean, it's tough.
It's exciting. It's fun. It's, you know, it's the way racing should be.
That was nuts. I mean, that was crazier than any Texas race I've been in. You never could take a breath. It was just everybody all over each other the whole time.
You've got to race around people you trust.
I'm sure everybody's going to leave here pissed off at each other, but it's good for the sport.
I had so much fun out there. I never thought I could race overs like that.
I know you guys watched it and then enjoy it at home, but I was not enjoying it.
That's racing.
It's good to be back on the ovals.
And that was driver reaction after last week's race in Chicago. Now, 1 week later, 27 drivers are preparing to race side by side for 200 laps once again. Guess who else is going to be out there? Terrell Owens. There he is. He's sitting right behind Ari Luyendyk, who will drive him in the 2-seater around this track. And it's kind of lonely out here. It's gotten really dark, and all the fans have gone inside to watch this race. So let's go up to the booth. Bob, Jan, and Robbie, 3 guys who like to get down with downforce.
All right.
Can you even believe I said that with a straight
No,
face?
no.
By the way, speaking of getting down, happy birthday, Bob.
Thank you. Happy birthday
Bob.
to Robbie
Thank
2
you.
days ago.
Yeah.
Well, when we talked with you last week at Chicagoland, the word we talked about was unpredictable. I think you can agree it was a very unpredictable race. But now this week, Robbie says the drivers are about to step into the unknown.
That's right. Chicago unpredictable, here unknown. Why is that? Well, yesterday in the final warm-up, there was a lot of drivers that really liked their race car. But the problem with it, that's a good thing. But the problem is it's about 20 degrees cooler right now, so that means they're going to have a different handling race car. So these engineers and drivers, they need to get what they figure can be the best changes to that race car so it maintains that balance in that race car. And if they don't get that done, they're really going to be holding on at the beginning of this thing.
And Robbie, you mentioned that word balance. And when we talk about balance, maybe the best description or best example of that was what happened to Will Power at the last race in Chicagoland. He had a big moment. He got the car right in the middle of the screen there. A big wiggle on lap number 5 told me he almost did not bring that car back. He said immediately, I went to the controls in the car, I went to some push, I did the weight checker, I did the bars, but I drove the rest of the race on the rear tire. I got used to driving it loose. He said it built confidence, but here with the bumps, I don't think he can do that, because when it steps out, you might not catch it.
It's going to be good, just like it was last Saturday night at Chicagoland. Well, thank you very much for joining us for IndyCar Central on Versus, presented by Firestone. A racing legend will give the command in just a moment to start engines as we get set for this 300-mile race at Kentucky Speedway.
The IndyCar Central pre-race is presented by Firestone, the first name in Indy racing.
Team Penske's Will Power has been the picture of perfection, winning 5 races, all on road courses. But to win this season's IZOD IndyCar Series Championship, he'll have to finish strong. And since all the remaining races fall on oval tracks, this year's Road King will have to do what he's never done before. Hold off defending champion Dario Franchitti, who won last week on the mile-and-a-half oval of Chicagoland.
Dario Franchitti has won for the 3rd time in 2010.
Franchitti's victory was Will Power's heartbreak, as a late race pit mishap proved to be costly, yielding a 16th place finish and cutting his points lead by more than half. A massive blow to the 12-car team.
That's racing, you know.
Dario Franchitti is on the prowl here in the Bluegrass State, armed with the experience of a fight for the finish. The final stretch to the championship continues tonight in Kentucky. And if it's anything like it was last week in Chicago, hold on. 2010 in the IZOD IndyCar Series drivers are about to start the Kentucky Indy 300, race number 15 of 17 on the schedule. Tonight's race marks the 200th race in the series history, dating back to January 27th, 1996 at Walt Disney Speedway near Orlando, and it's the 1,512th open wheel race dating back to 1909. Here at Kentucky, there have been 8 different winners in 10 events, and there are 3 former winners in tonight's field. Weather is great. We are almost set for racing the command to be given tonight by a racing legend.
Are you ready? It's now time for those most famous words in motorsports. He is in the spotter stand above the blue steel grandstands. Here's 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner and IndyCar legend, Rick Mears.
Drivers, start your engines.
7 cars now begin to fire to life. It's the largest field here at Kentucky Speedway since the inaugural race in 2000. Shot from Ed Carpenter's car. He will be starting on the pole. There's Ryan Hunter-Reay, who will starting at the back of the pack because of his crash yesterday during the qualifying. There is the IZOD two-seater, and the passenger of two-time Indianapolis 500 winner Ari Lyondike is Terrell Owens of the Cincinnati Bengals, a six-time Pro Bowler, record holder in many areas. And T.O., you have done many, many things in your athletic career. Have you ever experienced anything like this?
Absolutely not.
You've got Ari Lyondike, two-time winner of Indy, in front of you. What's it feel like out there?
Oh, it's awesome. Awesome.
Do you wish you could continue in the race, or is a lap going to be good enough for you?
I think I'm good with the lap.
I don't blame you. All right, thanks very much, and good luck to the Cincinnati Bengals this year. Well, we could very well have a first-time winner here tonight. We had a first-time pole winner yesterday. Ed Carpenter won the Peak Pole Award worth $10,000 when he turned in a two-lap average of 217.933 miles an hour. He became the 34th different driver to earn a pole position in the IZOD IndyCar Series. Prior to yesterday, his best start in the series was a fourth. All right, let's look at the starting lineup now. Besides Ed in row number 1, current points leader is Will Power. Row 2, last week's runner-up in Chicagoland, Dan Weldon, and Scott Dixon, former winner here. Third row, Hideki Muto and Bertrand Baguette.
And Muto, what a smiles he had by starting fifth. He was really struggling in the morning. Baguette, his best starting position all year in the sixth spot.
In row 4, Mario Moraes, his best starting position of the year, and Elio Castroneves finished second here in 08. In the fifth row, defending race winner Ryan Briscoe and Thomas Schechter.
And watch out for Thomas Schechter. He loves to be a fast starter. He likes the high side. He starts on the outside. Look for him to make moves early.
11th starter Dario Franchitti, his worst start since Kansas last year when he was disqualified for running below the white line, and Vitor Mira, who finished 9th last Saturday night. As you take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, this race has been won from the pole 3 times in 03, 07, and 08. The farthest back a winner has ever started, 11th, Buddy Lazier in 2001. Most lead changes, or rather number of leaders, 4th in 2005 and 07. The most lead changes, 23 in 2006. This entire field is separated over a 2-lap average of 1.64 seconds. The race has never been run caution-free. The most cautions, 7, and the fewest number of cautions, 1. We have a lap to go. Let's go to Jack Arute in the IZOD Performance Pit Center.
And let's talk about point strategy. You heard Dario Franchitti saying his strategy is, I got to go for the win. So if you're willpower, what do? I divided up the point differential. The willpower cushion means he's got 7.6 points for the 3 remaining races. If he can gain that on Dario Franchitti, he wins the championship. So as much as willpower wants to race for the win, guys, I'm of the opinion, contrary to what he did last week, he needs to race Franchitti. Make sure that he stays in front of him. That's going to be the strategy. Forget about the win on an oval if you want to win the championship.
You saw the jumbled starting lineups. A lot of fast cars in the back. Jan, you take a look at the rear of the field. Robbie, you take a look at the middle. I'll keep a look up front. We have a lot of cameras covering the race action for you tonight. We hope you enjoy it. We are excited about the start of this race at Kentucky Speedway as Johnny Rutherford leads the field off of the track in the pace car. Here they come, Carpenter and Power. And the Apex Brazil green flag is waving.
And you can see Canal already running up there. I snuck back in the back of the field for you,
You're supposed to come in the middle, Robbie, because at the back, certainly, as you double box it, you get the great view on the left. The high side, Tony Kanaan making up all kinds of places.
And look at Bertrand Baguette in that yellow and black car driving for Eric Bachelard. He says, I'm going to gas it up. Look at the sparks coming off his car as he slides in behind.
Oh, we have a crash.
Sato.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay is also involved. Wow, KB Racing Technology has had a tough season. We talked to Kevin Kalkoven at the hotel this morning, and of course he had high hopes for the team, but once again we see a car eliminated in the early going.
Do we know their number tally for the year of incidents?
Boy, it's been amazing.
It's over 30, I think.
Yeah.
It's tough go.
Well, while we were watching on the right side, the lead up front, we saw this accident at the middle to back of the pack. We have a couple of replay angles for you that we'll look at here.
Tony Kanaan, was going around the outside, and Takuma Sato simply just got a big wiggle, and then behind in reaction, it just shows how loose the cars are when you're getting them up to temperature and pressure.
And did you see when Sato was just going up, he just clipped the car for Dale Coyne, that's driven by Alex Lloyd. Look at there. Whoa!
I don't think he hit anything.
No, but that just shows you when you dump the throttle, what it does is it changes the picture on the car. So as soon as he came off the gas, Ryan Hunter-Reay, the weight gets up on the front of the car, and those tires just grab and spin you around.
Well, Ryan Hunter-Reay has had a tough weekend so far, but he's okay as far as the car is concerned. He didn't hit anything during that crash. We'll be back in a moment.
Kentucky Indy 300 on Versus is brought to you by Apex Brazil. To learn more about our Brazilian goods and services, log on to experienceourenergy.com. And by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, forever. And by IZOD, the official apparel sponsor of the IZOD IndyCar Series, available at Macy's.
Green. Hold your brake, reset your fuel. Go.
Racing just doesn't get any better than this.
On the right, again.
3 wide off of turn number 4. Look at them slice and dice. Whoa! Look out. The twin checkers will wave. Welcome to the winner's circle.
It started with 2 simple words. And now it's time to join in. Announcing the Claim Your Mazda Summer Sales Event. Enjoy the high resale value of Mazda 3, Mazda 6, the driver's alternative to Camry and Accord, or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9. All available with 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus no monthly payments until November 2010. So why compromise? Claim your Mazda. Offer ends August 31st.
Select IZOD IndyCar driver. Driver selected Tony Kanaan. Select race transport. Mission finish first. Fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
In Japan that only opens its gates for 1 race a year.
Dixon rolls into victory lane.
The IZOD IndyCar Series travels to the Far East, where the one obstacle between the field and the finish line is willpower.
The IZOD IndyCar Series from Japan on Versus.
Welcome back to Sparta, Kentucky for the IZOD IndyCar Series. Lap 1 didn't even get completed before we already had a spin and some drivers being taken off the track. Takuma Sato in the KB Racing number 5, one of them, but also the 37 IZOD car of Ryan Hunter-Reay. Now, listening to their communications, he spun around, might have flat spotted the tires. They have the tires laid out to maybe change. Definitely they're going to top off for fuel, but Ryan's saying, I'm not feeling it, guys. I don't know. Should we change tires? George Close is saying, Ryan will look dumb if we don't come in and change tires. You can heat them up. These guys, their tires are cooling down, so come in. We're going to do both. Now, Jack Arute, we'll see if that's the case, but he doesn't think he flat spotted them, but you definitely don't want a vibration if you did.
Indeed, Robbie, and we'll keep an eye on that pit stop, but we've caught up with, Ari Lyondike, 2-time winner. Who's your chauffeur, T.O.? What did you think about that ride?
It was fun. I mean, we hit those curves. It was fun.
Talking about how fun it might be, let me see if I can get this thing turned on, and let's talk a little bit. You went 1.85. Is that the way you would say it? That's 185 miles an hour?
Yeah, 180, I think. About 181.
181, now you prefer. Let's talk a little bit about, you respect these guys as athletes now that you've been able to do it in the car and ride along. What do you think of these guys, IndyCar drivers?
Number one, these guys are nuts.
They're nuts.
They're nuts. But you know what? Exactly. When I go over the middle, but this is definitely much more dangerous, and I respect these guys for what they do.
They're going across the middle?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, you're going at a lot of speed here, and you one false mix-up, you're crashing.
Guys, I got to like his style. I want to show you. Now, Ari wore driving shoes, right? Check out T.O. Sockless. Back up to you.
All right.
And he talked about how temperamental it is out there just getting a two-seater ride. But, Robbie, your point about it being unknown, that's what we just saw the result of. With the temperature drop, it changes the balance of the car, and some people immediately ended up with more front grip than they anticipated. So right off the get-go, the unknown bit two people.
And here comes Ryan Hunter-Reay along with Alex Lloyd, and I believe that Graham Rahal will be taking a pit stop also. So we're under caution here. We really didn't complete a lap under green. There's Ryan as he comes in to get some new tires. But he was not involved except for spinning in this crash that did involve Takuma Sato. Back in a moment on Versus.
There's a reason why. In 5 years of powering every car in the Indianapolis 500 race, not a single Honda engine has failed. It's not the parts we make them from. It's the part we put in to every Honda.
You can buy Royal Purple for increased horsepower, superior protection, and fewer oil changes come at no additional charge. Royal Purple is available at quality oil change centers and auto parts stores nationwide. Find one near you at royalpurple.com.
I love this Miller Lite aluminum pint.
Oh, really? Why do you love it?
I love its wide mouth. I love its resealable cap. I love that it's a pint. I love that great Pilsner taste.
Okay.
But
why do you love me?
And when we go out, and then I like what you're doing with this. And I love all your teeth.
The aluminum pint from Miller Lite. Just one more way to love the taste of your beer. Taste greatness.
Why do you love me?
You're my soulmate.
Ditto.
Does anyone else have to turn up the volume when they eat wheat thins? Someone needs to invent crunch-proof headphones. He will be surprised. Tim Parker, do you remember when you tweeted, does anyone else have to turn up the volume when they eat wheat thins? Someone needs to invent crunch-proof headphones.
Yes.
All right, well, guess what, pal? Straight from Wheat Thins Lab.
No way.
We're going to try this. Ready?
Okay.
That's a success. Let's roll. Bring it in. Come on, boys. Who's next?
Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway as we are about to go racing once again. The green flag comes out, and here we go. Let's hope we can get in some green laps here after Takuma Sato crashed, and it was his 9th DNF of the year, all by contact. Look who's running in 4th position there for Tron Baguette.
And he got to 3rd position, on the bottom of the racetrack. That car is really rolling that corner.
That's Conquest Racing, owned by former driver Eric Bachelard.
Marco Andretti in the Meyer colors, way up high.
And passing. Not just way up high because it was washing up there. He was driving up there to go by, guys.
On board with Will Power, who's running in 4th position. He started 2nd. He's dropped back a couple. And up front, we are seeing Dan Weldon go to the inside of Ed Carpenter. Carpenter leading his 5th race of his career, but not now as Dan Weldon goes to the inside and takes the lead from Ed.
And we really didn't think we'd see anybody making a pass down the inside. Ed left a little bit of a window, so Weldon dove down in there. But I'll be surprised as this race unfolds if we see any more of that.
Ed Carpenter ran the bottom in qualifying. If you don't run the bottom, that means your car is a little bit loose. If your car isn't loose, then you can keep it down on the bottom. So if someone goes from the lower to the middle, it means the car's a little bit on the loose side. Hopefully those teammates will work together.
While we watch some of the action up front, let me tell you that Tony Kanaan is 17th. He started 26th. Marco Andretti, meanwhile, has moved all the way to 6th as he was using that high line that Robbie talked about. And Thomas Schechter is to 7th. He started in 10th. On board with Tony Kanaan.
Got a good run here. That's Rafa Matos in the 2-car.
He can get 3 to 4 miles an hour in the draft, and now he's getting help from ahead and from his spotters telling clear. When you know you're clear, that means you can then make another move.
And look at him keep that momentum going. And you saw Rafa when he held Rafa on the...
Whoa! Look at that correction.
Man.
He had to lift there.
Obviously, so did Justin Wilson, or else he would have gone backwards.
So Kanaan goes to 14th now. Justin Wilson is 15th. Rafa Matos is in this battle also, as is E.J. Viso. Now a good battle between the third-place car of Baguette and Will Power, with whom we are on board now.
And that's a nice run, but does he stay or does he go up around the outside? When Carpenter moves up into the middle lane, that helps Power.
Look at the movement from Baguette's car as he kind of come off turn 2 there.
What a great, great weekend going for Conquest, though.
Yeah.
He is right there running with Team Penske. Nice job.
And I talked to Eric Batchel, our team over Conquest, last night. I'm like, where's the speed? He's like, I don't know. We just keep working. And he kind of had a chuckle about him doing it. But he should. He had both cars qualified in the top 10.
Baguette has never driven an oval until the first one this year. Lindy is with Takuma.
To see the replay because I asked you what happened. You said you really don't know.
No. I just suddenly lost the back end into the turn 3 and had no idea really.
Okay, we're going to try to pull that up for you here in a second, but in the meantime, you've had 9 DNFs. What, all by contact, just to your psyche and team morale, what does that do?
We had a few problems obviously. Yeah, looks like it bottomed out in the with cold tire. I don't know. Yeah, I mean things didn't get together really. It was really unfortunate. Obviously we learned so many things from what we made mistake, but this is something completely unexpected.
When you come each week, is it easy to forget about the DNFs and all that's happening, or is it just always in your mind?
It is difficult. It is difficult. It's not going to help for your confidence either. But every weekend we pick up a really good positive as well. And every time, it's new things, and I don't know. You just try to learn everything possible. Particularly for this race, I was going to be. I felt a good race, because you need to be. Because just before to Japan, Indy Japan, that you need to carry good momentum. But unfortunately, I couldn't do it.
Takuma, thank you. We'll see you there.
Thank you.
Bob?
All right, Takuma Sato, a former Formula One driver, a rookie in the IZOD IndyCar Series this year. There is Marco Andretti battling alongside Baguette. Ryan Hunter-Reay, who was spinning in that Sato crash, has moved up to 17th position. Back in a moment. IZOD IndyCar Series in action at Kentucky Speedway on this Labor Day Saturday night. And Dan Weldon is the leader of this race. The best battle on the racetrack is for 7th position. That is Dario Franchitti on the high side of Mario Moraes.
Coming up alongside again. Still there. that Tagliani trying to close up at 30, about 1.5 back.
Guys listening to the radio there on Dario Franchitti, but watching his telemetry, it's to me quite obvious that he is having not the best of nights. He's already used 3 of the overtakes, and that didn't give him the benefit as he used it to try and get by Marias, and Marias was able to battle back on the inside. Here he goes again.
That Tagliani about 1.5 back.
And talking to Dario prior to this, he said the key of this race is going to be a balance in the race car, and obviously he doesn't have what he wants. He'll keep tuning on that thing all night.
Still there. Still inside.
And he'll be hearing a lot of still there if he doesn't get to speed up. But remember, after the first pit stop, this can all change. The crews can make changes on the cars because, again, Robbie, the unknown of the conditions, it was all a gamble, but you can change it on a pit stop.
Also in this battle is Alex Tagliani. And behind him, Vitor Meira and Elio Castroneves.
And Tag's right back there, you know, he said his car was a little bit loose in qualifying, and he thought the conditions would only make the car looser tonight, so they really were thinking about how they're going to set their car up to be comfortable for a good race car.
Since the restart, this is the guy that has been on the move. Ryan Hunter-Reay has moved up to 15th position after he started at the tail when he spun during the Sato crash.
He had to lift there and go for a gear change. Now, the fastest lap for Hunter-Reay, check that out, 4.3 lateral Gs and 74% over 1G. If you remember from the stats back from Chicagoland, that was 71%, so another 3%. You say, how can that be? It's because the whole front straightaway, that whole tri-oval, you're over 1G, which is about as hard as you can corner in a street car.
Guys, Tony Kanaan started out 26th. He's in 14th. His teammate, Ryan Hunter-Reay, 27th. He's up to 15th, so 12 apiece. Now they're together, going to try and work together. But you remember last week, Tony Kanaan talked about just how difficult it was with the drivers in front and around him. I asked him, I said, give me that Kanaan nugget only you can give me. He said, Robbie, I had a tough time this week. This week, I just hope to survive. We don't say good luck. We just say be safe. And he's just trying to survive out there right now.
I talked with Tony yesterday after the final time. What's the key to this place? He said patience. So how do you size that? But what he was talking about is patience in terms of working together. So if Ryan Hunter-Reay can get up with them, they can work together. Not run side by side. Have the cars run nose to tail. Work together. So that was the kind of patience that Tony said was the key to success here.
Paul Tracy, we talked to him in our pre-race show. He is currently running in 20th position, driving for Dreyer and Reinbold. And Paul Tracy is not known as a driver who exhibits a lot of patience, but looks like he is right now.
I think, you know, he had a little bit of a conservative plan. He hasn't been on a super speedway in a while, right. So he just wants to gain confidence in that race car. Again, his focus is to get to the end of this race. Make adjustments as you go through the race, see what the sway bars do, see what the weight jacker does. The guys will make some adjustment with tire pressures when they make pit stops. He's shooting for that last pit stop and finish strong.
Good battle for third here as Scott Dixon is to the outside of Will Power.
Wow. He gave Dixon got run up to the track just a bit because Power couldn't hold it down. And you want an idea of what happens with bumps and aerodynamic wash when you look off the back wing and you see these cars dancing around? Every one of those little dances is counteracted by a little move with the wheel.
Behind Scott Dixon is Ryan Briscoe, and sixth is Marco Andretti. Stay with us for more here from Kentucky Speedway. You'll see all the action non-stop here on Versus.
If you know passion, you know my name. If the roar of a race car gives you goosebumps. If you believe that no one ever remembers who comes in second. If you're into checkered flags, chugging milk, and burning rubber, you know my name. If you've ever pressed your nose to a chain-link fence to get a closer look, if you own a pair of earplugs, if you know Andretti, Rahal, and Unser, you know my name. You know my name because I've been here from the very beginning. As vital today as I was over 100 years ago.
100 miles to go.
I am a powerhouse. I am running wide open with no finish line in sight. I am the fire that never goes out. You know my name. I am then, I am now, I am forever. I am Firestone, and I am proud.
Feel the excitement? That's peak performance, and it's electric.
Look out. Be sure everybody's safe with the new Peak backup camera system. With the Peak Jump Starter, you don't need another car to jump your dead battery, so there's no waiting. And the fun never stops with the Peak Power Inverter. It instantly converts your car's battery power to household power. Great as a mobile office or for tailgating.
Inside, outside, all around your car. When you peak, you win.
At Mothers, we come up with innovative solutions to common car care problems, like yellow clouded headlights. They're unsightly, and the reduced light output is a serious safety concern. Mothers Powerball for Lights is a revolutionary product. Restoring headlight clarity may seem complicated, but it's not. Powerball for Lights is quick, inexpensive, and easy to use, even on severely damaged headlights. Restore, maintain, and protect. Mothers Powerball for Lights Headlight Restoration Kit.
College football continues on Versus. We know what you Mountain West fans want. Want to know if the Rebels can hold off the Badgers in a showdown under the lights in Las Vegas? Or will 12th-rated Wisconsin flex its Big Ten muscle? Wisconsin at UNLV next. Only on Versus, we know the Mountain West. On board with Ed Carpenter, who is in second place, just a few car lengths behind his teammate, Dan Weldon, who is the leader of this event. And third place continues to be hotly contested. Will Power and Scott Dixon go side by side.
And I'm just amazed by these shots off of Power looking at Dixon. Just the movement we see. Of all the super speedways I go to, I can't remember seeing all that little movement that we're seeing when you look over at Dixon's car just around this place. Just the bumps setting that off.
Two-car battle is Marco Andretti, also Ryan Briscoe. Bertrand Baguette is battling with Dario Franchitti for position, Jack.
Yeah, Bob, I've been tracking the temperature, and right now it is beginning to drop. It is at 66 degrees. They are calling for, by the end of the race, to drop as low as the mid-50s. Now, remember, these cars practiced, the two practice sessions and qualifying. The average temperature back then was between 72 and 73 degrees. Yeah, that has got to have an effect on the setups on these cars.
It does, Jack. Anytime that the air gets cooler, it gets more dense, and that means more downforce, more power, but also more fuel. So they have to make all those adjustments. And when you talk about more fuel, when Viso comes in, that, you know what, they don't seem like they are...
It's right rear.
Oh, yeah,
it's glowing.
Glowing that right rear rotor.
And you talk about that, the cool air. I mean, another thing it keeps affecting is the center of pressure in these cars. They're so affected, just that sensitive balance in that car is that cool air shifts the center of pressure to either have the front bite more or the rear bite more, and that's how you're always fighting that balance as the conditions get cooler.
All right, while they work on E.J. Viso's car on pit lane, we go back and check on the action on the racetrack. Sort of a single file formation right now, but, well, you got to give a call to Marco Andretti. I watched him in final practice last night, and again, just as it was the case at Chicagoland, he liked that high line. He's used it tonight to get to where he is.
Well, I think part of the success of just with the speed we're seeing from the Andretti Autosports cars, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Kanaan, Marco, is they tested here a couple weeks ago, and that knowledge is worth a bunch in terms of giving yourself a happy race car.
But for Dario Franchitti, though, as we've got a side-by-side with Marco now, Mira going down on the low side. You know, Dario Franchitti, we talked about patience, we talked about working through the car and making changes, and Briscoe is going backwards.
Yep, sure is.
I think it was just a function of just a washout coming off the floor and dumping the throttle, and then this guy slingshotting by him.
That was a big loss of momentum.
Yeah, he's got to speed back, so now he's got to get back up there. So nothing's wrong. He just had to give up some throttle.
Dropped back to 10th place, though. We mentioned the Andretti Autosport drivers. We did not mention the other one, Danica Patrick. She is in 15th.
And Bertrand Baguette still hanging in there very strongly. To finish my point on Franchitti, I think he's been adjusting, and the car is definitely coming to him at the end of the stint. He's gaining fast.
Robbie, we have a shake-up, so to speak, in the pit members at Team Penske.
Yeah, big powwow at Team Penske. You know, after what happened last week, they've actually lost some spots on pit lane, something very characteristic for Team Penske. So they made some changes, kind of an all-star team, if you will. The inside front comes from Elio Castroneves' team. That's Matt Rosenthal. The air jack now, Harry Reynolds from the number 6 team, also for the 6 of Ryan Briscoe. Matt Geesy's going to be a fueler. So the fueler, the air jack, and inside front, it's an all-star team now for their series points leader, Will Power.
And teammates for Panther Racing and Panther Vision Racing come in at the same time. Lindy.
And in comes Ed Carpenter, who does not have a full ride this season, says the way I look at it, every time I'm sitting in that car, I have to do the absolute best I can to get the most out of it. He said to get the most out of it tonight, he needed to go down on front wing, half a turn.
And Lindy, when they took that front wing out, that's exactly what we expected. That means the car was loose. Don't see the same kind of change for Weldon. Weldon could run the bottom of the racetrack. Carpenter, look at them side by side.
That's Mira. Weldon's already gone out.
Yep.
And Vitor Mira is going to come out ahead of Ed Carpenter.
Nicely done.
Well, remember, we saw Carpenter having such a strong race in Chicago. Unfortunately, when the fueler went to plug in, they didn't get fuel in. So they're definitely going to focus on making all that. Here's Power on pit lane.
And several others get their work completed on pit lane. There's Thomas Scheckter, who's coming in for service. As we said, Will Power, so is Dario Franchitti and Scott Dixon. Robbie.
Be on the lookout for Will Power, maybe taking some wing out. They're going to make a tire change. Evidently, all 3 Penske drivers having a little problem with others here. Take out that front wing. And out goes Will Power. Nice stuff there, boys. Dario Franchitti right on his tail.
Dixon
and as you said, he did take out Robbie. I'm sure you could see that as well. It was at least a turn.
Let's go, buddy. He's coming into one.
They're spotting where the leaders are. Paul Tracy is not yet pitted, so we talked about patience. He's been saving fuel.
Well, I think it's interesting. Everybody was seeing turn.
Except for that time.
That was wing in, wasn't it? That was wing in.
Briscoe is the first person who had push. Everyone else appears to have been loose.
But with the cooler conditions, that's what I would expect, is this track would get looser as the night goes on. So to take a little wing off the front and keep that balance, you expect that. Not on Briscoe's pace.
Paul Tracy leads the Kentucky Indy 300. 58 laps have been completed. Race going very quickly since we had the crash involving Takuma Sato on lap number 1. But Paul Tracy has not pitted yet, but is the leader of the race. He did pit on lap number 6 during the caution, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, where we had a handful of guys just sequencing in then.
Now he's coming in for his second stop.
And this pit road, don't underestimate this, just like in Chicago. When it's green conditions, you come down that little pit road, and now, right here as you come on the pit road, it really tightens up and could be a challenge for the drivers.
Will Power is going to be shown, I believe, as the leader of the race when Paul comes in. Dixon second, and Weldon, Franchitti. We have a good battle going on there.
It shows that when you pit early, it's a disadvantage. The cars that pit later always tend to cycle towards the front. Paul Tracy, now we know, making second pit stop, pit out of sequence, and they...
That looked like they put something in, didn't they? Didn't it look like he turned it?
Well, I think he took some out, but...
All right.
You say right, I say left.
With the pit stop completed, it's Power, Dixon, and Weldon at Kentucky Speedway.
This brickyard runs on sugar.
Sweet sugarcane ethanol.
It's an advanced biofuel recognized by the EPA
because it cuts greenhouse emissions by 60% compared to gasoline.
And it can save you money at the pump. Fast and sweet and clean and lovely, the fuel from sugar cane goes racing. I can dance. Nah, I cannot sing. But one thing we can agree, we race on ethanol.
There's a reason why. In 5 years of powering every car in the Indianapolis 500 race, not a single Honda engine has failed. It's not the parts we make them from. It's the part we put in to every Honda.
Quality and value. Style. Performance. Sure, you want it all. Just don't want to spend it all. No problem. Just go with the brand voted #1 overall. Toyo tires. For 7 of the last 9 years by people who know best. Independent tire dealers, just like me. So for top quality and top value, take it from the pros. Toyo tires.
Film, multi-purpose synthetic lubricant from Royal Purple. The easy spray answer to penetrate, lubricate, and leave a long-lasting film that protects. Forget old-school aerosols and break free with Max Film, multi-purpose synthetic lubricant from Royal Purple.
Versus takes you back to NASCAR's roots.
Green flag.
With open wheels, short tracks, and the same high-speed thrills. NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour from Langley Speedway on Versus.
The ISON IndyCar Series tonight on Versus at Kentucky Speedway. The leader of the race on your left is Will Power. In the middle is Dan Weldon, and the third place car is Scott Dixon. Dario Franchitti not too far behind. Tony Kanaan, Marco Andretti battle for fifth. Elio Castroneves, Briscoe, Mira, and Ed Carpenter, who is a pole sitter, complete the top 10 as the first round of pit stops have been made under green.
The performances coming into the pit and leaving fairly close on the in-lap, except for Will Power. He certainly won that battle, but on the way out, it was Dan Weldon who pulled the fast outlap. But again, the penalty, those are close. The biggest penalty was Weldon and Carpenter pitting early. That put Carpenter way back.
Boy, Dan Weldon is very racy tonight. He goes to the high side of Will Power. They are side by side through turn number 4. Great battle on the racetrack, Jack.
Yeah, guys, and you heard Robbie Floyd talk about that all-star pit crew for Will Power. Not because of last week, but trying to be in the midst of the points chase. Remember last week, Will Power came in for fuel and they didn't get the full load. Let me explain to you what happened. We talked about it before. This is a fuel red hat. When it went into the fuel Buckeye, most teams will use a sensor light that'll go green and say you made the connection. Well, that sensor light isn't always reliable. And for Will Power at an earlier oval race, it did not fire. So the fueler thought, well, there's a misfunction with the light. What he should have done from there is check on the fuel vent, this little butterfly. That, when you make a connection, it will begin to vibrate. He neglected to do that because it was so fast and no fuel got in. Hey, Dan Weldon is starting to look awfully racy, Lindy.
He sure is, Jack. Thank you. Meanwhile, E.J. Vizo out of the car. E.J., was it a brake problem?
Yeah, really funny. I mean, in the ovals we don't brake, and from lap 1 we have a problem with the brakes. Just basically the rear brakes stayed stuck, and we were dragging the brakes, and we started overheating the tires. The pressures came up, the engine overheated, and by the end I just stopped because we melt all the brake system, and it was not safe to drive. If there was a yellow, I was not going to be able to brake. It's just a real shame. I keep saying the same. We do have so much potential in this team, but we keep having these sort of problems that they're basically out of our hands. It's just really frustrating.
Well, speaking of all that, I asked Takuma earlier how he keeps the morale and his psyche up. How do you do it?
Well, I think this always in the tough times, we need to show that we're strong enough to handle these moments, and that this is racing. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it's not, and it's tough. Yeah, it's especially tough knowing that all the potential that we have as a team, all the effort me and the sponsors do to be here and put such a nice car in the track, and we have problems like this.
EJ, thank you. Bob?
2 of the 3 KB Racing Technology cars are out of the race already. We saw Sarah Fisher there for a moment. She's running in 24th position, a lap down, and her teammate Graham Rahal also is a lap down, but there are 22 on the lead lap. But up front, it is the current points leader in the Izod IndyCar Series, Will Power at Kentucky Speedway.
All that paper.
78 laps out of 200 completed at Kentucky Speedway. Will Power has the lead. He is putting a lap on Mario Marias, who is running 21st. Simona Di Silvestro running 22nd, just went a lap down. And when they went around her, Will Power got a bit of an advantage. Dan Weldon got a bit hung up. And now we see some of the other faster cars. Oh, look out! And Mira's in trouble. Simona.
And Briscoe.
Wow.
Big oil fire impact from Mira when he went up there.
Oh, and a secondary big hit there also for Simona.
You can see that coming. Oh, and
these crashes go a long way. That is Briscoe's crash continuing.
Yeah, well, we know
a long
anytime
way.
you tear off a wheel, that messes up the brake system. When you go for the pedal, there's a crack in the fluid system, and there's no pressure to it, so it's not slowing it down.
Simona's car.
She had a heavy second impact.
Yeah.
The first one was big, but she came across down to the infield.
Look at the nose.
Yeah.
You see that's a big frontal impact on the way that nose is collapsed.
It's like she's trying to get out though.
Yeah.
And Ryan Briscoe apparently has a sore left knee that he's flexing.
Well, we all know the way, the center area of these cockpits in the dash, your knees go right back up.
Great news for Simona.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like the look of that second hit, but thankfully she's okay.
Yeah. Nothing with her feet. I mean, when you see that, that's great.
Ryan Briscoe, I don't know. He may have a sore knee, and Vitor Mira is not yet out, but now he begins to climb out also.
Which is a great thing considering what he's gone through.
Yeah, no
with
kidding.
His big crash he had at the Speedway.
Right. So all the drivers are walking away. Vitor surveying the damage. Ryan Briscoe, it appears to be shaken up the most. Well, again, Will Power and Dan Weldon had just lapped Simona Di Silvestro.
So look at Mira coming with the speed. He's just got a bunch of speed, gets inside Simona.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like she knew he had gotten there. He jumped in there so quick. Now what happened?
Just clip Briscoe.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, just as one,
just a subtle nudge just to set it off. So look at the head of steam that Mira has. Gets down the inside.
That's real time. That shows you how quick it happens.
Wow.
And she did not know he was to the inside. That's for certain.
Looking back from Tony Kanon's car.
She's trying to give room to the cars ahead.
Yeah, and there's where you see her make that contact with the left rear.
And they were told that if your lap's down and you're slower, go low.
That's right.
So she was doing what she was told, to go low and let the other cars go high. Did not know that Mira was there.
Yeah. Ed Carpenter sneaks through and is okay, but we are under caution because of a 3-car accident on lap number 82 at Kentucky.
It started with 2 simple words, and now it's time to join in. Announcing the Claim Your Mazda Summer Sales Event. Enjoy the high resale value of Mazda 3, Mazda 6, the driver's alternative to Camry and Accord, or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9. All available with 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus no monthly payments until November 2010. So why compromise? Claim your Mazda. Offer ends August 31st.
So this is Dan Crane. He tweeted that he's using a wheat thin to pick his air guitar. Good morning, Dan.
Hello?
You recall tweeting using a wheat thin to pick my air guitar?
Yes.
This is a limited edition air guitar.
Whoa!
It's a Mellenbacher hollow neck.
A Mellenbacher.
So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah. $20 picks? So have at it, man. Let's just do it. You got a windmill? Come on, boys. Who's next?
If you're like me, you want maximum protection for your engine. You demand it, and Peak delivers. No matter what you drive or how you drive it, nothing protects better than Peak.
Peak Long Life Antifreeze is formulated with an advanced organic technology to protect any engine of any make, any model, anytime. If you can drive it, Peak can protect it.
Make sure you get Peak protection. When you peak, you win.
Command has been given. Here we go.
There's a course in Japan that only opens its gates for one race a year.
Dixon rolls into victory lane.
The IZOD IndyCar Series travels to the Far East, where the one obstacle between the field and the finish line is willpower.
The IZOD IndyCar Series from Japan on Versus.
And here they come. First three, Power, Weldon, and Andretti from top to bottom. Going to be a busy place on pit road here as the second round of stops for most of the drivers are happening right now.
And remember, not everybody's taking on a full tank of fuel here.
Ooh, Weldon came out in 6-7. Must not have taken tires, huh? Oh, goodness.
Oh, and he just gets Power. Power got a little bit too much wheel spin. I think he lost the spot. Now show us race off pit road as Weldon's second. Looked to me like, oh, that's why we're looking at the yellow line.
Yeah,
it's the previous line.
It's not that heavy yellow line across
the
there.
white
it's one
lines.
back.
Yeah.
And it's the same way at pit in. When you look at pit in, there's a heavy yellow line. That's not it. It's one past that. It's a lighter yellow.
They have the Sunoco cone there, which I see now clearly. So, yes, the electronics don't lie. He did beat him out. That was close.
So Melody and Sylvester are working from Switzerland. The Stargate Girls HBM car came down on B4 and turn 3.
All right, let's take a look again at the exit.
We watched all of the drivers come on to pit lane.
Yep, he beats him to the white.
Close.
Yeah. He's certainly out ahead of steam. That shows the difference.
Pretty clear there. Doesn't look as close when you, when you actually slow that down right there. It doesn't look as close.
Robbie is with John Barnes.
Hey, John, high fives all around for you. You say the car is good, but this is 2 weeks in a row that your team has had tremendous pit stops.
Well, I'll tell you, the guys really worked really hard. The NASCAR team did, and we're excited about tonight. Still a long way to go, but I think we've got the horse to take this thing to the fifth.
Just best qualifying spot for a Panther. I mean, this race car, what is it that you've determined in the past couple of weeks that you've been able to dial it in so well?
I'll tell you after Homestead.
Thank you. I tried, guys. I tried.
Well, talking with John, he definitely said their focus was these last 4 ovals, and they put time into Chicago and here and testing so they have a good race car. And you got to say it's paying off. Black and white. I mean, look what they did.
Yep.
Chicago, look what they got going on right now.
That's right. Last evening in the final practice, Ed Carpenter ran several laps, got the car set up to where he wanted it. But then in the late stages of the practice period, he did more time on pit lane than he was on the racetrack.
And each lap, out. Back again. Let's do another practice. I'm in.
But that's the we know he's great on these super speedways, but the one thing is all about just hitting your marks, having the crew guys doing it. It just happens time and time again to get better.
And here was his first stop of the night. Now, this is a good pit stop. If you watch the fueler just beats the tires. They get it done. But he has the first pit stall. That is always a disadvantage because people can pull out in front of you and block you. He dropped to 10th, but that practice did pay out. There's no substitute for practicing hot pit stops. It's not the same in the shop.
And Ed Carpenter is currently running in 7th position. Will Power is the leader of the race at this time. He said after last week that he would definitely win here this week. We'll see if he does. Stay with us on Versus.
Green, 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 green. Hold your brake. Reset your fuel. Go, go, go.
Racing just doesn't get any better than this.
On the right, dig in.
3 wide off of turn number 4. Look at them slice and dice. Whoa! Look out. The twin checkers will wave.
Welcome to the winner's circle.
Just what we all need. Another brilliant idea from Honda. Introducing the Accord Cross Tour with available 4-wheel drive.
Select iGod IndyCar driver. Driver selected, Dan Weldon. Select race transport. Mission finish first. Fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
Story about a man with a car and a job, a wife and a kid. His name is Bob. Just a regular guy with a regular car, but it's what he rolls on that makes him a star. His Firestone tires are known far and wide. The way they perform gives a sense of pride. That's Bob's story. He ain't no liar, because everybody knows the legends ride Firestone.
Legendary drivers need legendary tires. You can buy Royal Purple for increased horsepower. Superior protection and fewer oil changes come at no additional charge. Royal Purple is available at quality oil change centers and auto parts stores nationwide. Find one near you at royalpurple.com.
Still under caution here at Kentucky Speedway because of a 3-car accident involving Ryan Briscoe, Vitor Mira, and Simone Di Silvestro. Verizon Team Penske driver Will Power is the leader, running in 3rd position. Target Chip Ganassi driver Scott Dixon. There are the 2 owners who pretty much dominate IZOD IndyCar racing history. During our Motegi race coverage, we're going to have one of Jack Arut's famous in-color interviews with these 2 individuals. Here's a sample.
When one beats the other, it seems to be more meaningful. Is that a correct observation, Chip?
I don't know if it's more meaningful. It's you know, I think we, you know, I think both of us, you know, we're friends, but we want to kick each other's ass, and we get a lot of pleasure out of doing that. This series is better because of people like Roger. You have to have somebody to shoot at, and at least I do, and that's why I'm here.
That's going to be interesting to hear the entire interview, and again, it's going to be during our Motegi coverage as Helio Castroneves is in, but stalls the car. Oh, another mishap on pit lane for Team Penske.
Now, there's no real penalty here because he was going out of sequence, just going to drop to the back and lose track position anyway. You don't want to do that under green, so that's okay. No harm, no foul. He would have been in this position either way, and now he's topped up. This is rolling the dice.
Still not a regular thing.
And you told me before the race
from Helio,
but you did tell me you thought that Tim Cindric, Castroneves would roll the dice, and there you go.
Down to Lindy.
Simona out of the medical center and okay. What happened from your view?
I can't really tell, but, I think people were lapping us, and, I was letting them by on the top, and I think Vitor tried to go on the bottom, and, I was already on the bottom, so it didn't, we hit pretty hard, and, it's pretty shameful pretty much for what happened.
There's a look at it right there.
Yeah, so, I was running the bottom line, and I think he tried a little bit late to get in there, so I don't know. Maybe it's my fault, but I don't think so.
You had 2 hard hits there.
Yeah, they were pretty hard.
I heard you saying last night in practice that you thought the car was pretty good. It was just maybe a little bit of a confidence issue. How were you feeling out there today?
Yeah, confidence is coming. You know, I still have to get used to these ovals, and you know, the car was pretty good, but we had a lot of understeer. I think everybody struggled a little bit with that because of the temperature, but you know, we were kind of moving for making the car better and better, and just trying to get around more eyes. We were fighting there for a little bit, and you know, I think we're going in a good direction.
Thanks, Simona. Over to Jack.
Yeah, down here in the Honda Performance Pit, we've caught up with the technical director of Honda Performance, the IZOD Performance Pit, Honda Technical Director Roger Griffiths. Roger, I want to talk about the overtake button because it was introduced 1 year ago here today.
Yeah, right here.
But when we looked at Chicago, a lot of people left that race, as exciting as it was, without taking full use of the overtake. That doesn't seem to be the case tonight. It's kind of going in sync. What's the difference?
I mean, here the racing style is a little bit different. Chicago, we were getting into a bit of a fuel mileage race, and the cars are running a little bit leaner than they did last year. When they press the overtake button, they go back to full fueling, best power mixture, so they burn a bit more fuel. When they're trying to conserve that last little drop of fuel, maybe to get to the end of the race, and we saw what happened with Will Power, you know, they've got to be cautious about how much they use that overtake button. Here, the race is still pretty early, you know, a few more pit stops to come. It might play out a bit differently here tonight. I mean, interesting to see, actually, Dan Weldon used all but two, I think, of his overtakes.
Yeah, but one thing I do want to ask is, what about the temperature? The temperature is dropping here. What does that do to the performance?
Typically, we'll pick up a little bit of power as it cools down. I mean, the engine power curve will move around a little bit, so the teams will have to be thinking about how they've geared the cars towards the end of the race. As the night cools down, the power curve of the engine's going to move a little bit. Peak power will occur slightly earlier in the RPM band.
Thanks, Roger, for visiting with us.
No problem.
We're still under caution here at the Kentucky Speedway. Lap 92 has been completed of the 200. We'll be back with more next.
You're looking guaranteed.
You can see more of that in-color interview that we teased a little while ago by joining us for our Motegi Indy Japan 300 race coverage. It'll be the next to the last race of the 2010 IZOD IndyCar season, and you can see it at 11 o'clock Eastern Time on September the 18th, only on Versus. All right, let's go down to Lindy Thaxton.
Ryan, you say what happened out there is a tough call.
Well, I mean, I haven't actually seen it yet, but, you know, we're going up there and we're all sort of in a bit of a group, and, you know, I saw Simona down the bottom, and Vitor had a run on me and Elio. I saw him go down the inside of Simona, and I was like, oh, why are you doing that? And, man, I just tried to stay on the gas and missed the accident, but unfortunately they touched, and there was nothing much we could do. But man, it was a hard hit, and it's just really disappointing. I think we had the real potential to get to the front tonight and win this, but not to be.
You could see there's something up with your knee. Are you okay?
I banged my knees together really hard, but they're fine. It's my foot. My foot's really badly bruised, but I took an x-ray and nothing broken, so just a bit of a bruise, and I'll be good for Japan.
Thank you, Ryan. We're going back to green. Bob?
Great news for Ryan Briscoe that he's okay, but he is eliminated from the championship as the Apex Brazil restart green flag comes out. We have several drivers on the overtake assist, including Dixon, Andretti, and Patrick. And by the way, all four Andretti Autosport cars are running in the top 10. Will Power, however, sets the pace, but not too far behind him is Dan Weldon. And here's Tony Kanaan and Ed Carpenter battling for sixth.
And his teammates making a move for the lead. Dan Weldon up high. Longer distance up top there. Keep that in mind, too, when you always go up there. You got a little longer distance go. As long as that guy on the bottom has a good car that's turning, he doesn't have to get out of the gas on the bottom, you're really going to struggle to get by him on the high side. He needs Ed Carpenter is what he needs right now. He needs a helper to help him go on the high side. It's very tough to do on your own.
Will Power has now led in 14 of 15 races this year. The only race he has not led was Kansas. In 1999, Juan Pablo Montoya led 15 races, and Dan Weldon led 15 in the IZOD IndyCar Series in 2005. Some very close racing here in the top 10.
Weldon's got some helpers now in Scott Dixon, Dario Franchitti right up behind him.
John, remember in the last last pit stop that they took wing out of the car for Will Power. And that final pit stop during that caution, they wanted to put a little more wing in. They didn't get a chance. As we look at Danica Patrick taking a run on the inside on her teammate, Marco Andretti.
Yeah, that's a battle for 7th position. Marco in 7th and Danica in 8th. But here comes Justin Wilson.
All teammates in one shot.
Not a surprise to see the Andretti cars up here. They had 3 that finished in the top 5 at Chicago, but all 4 running right together. All three of the 4 right there.
Good to see Danica Patrick running up in the lead pack again. That's Ryan Hunter-Reay on her outside.
As I said, that's all 4 Andretti cars right there.
We are halfway, 100 laps completed, 100 laps to go. This is what happened to Ryan Hunter-Reay on the first lap as Takuma Sato crashed up front.
Tried to lift, as Robbie said earlier, put some weight on the front. It makes it bite, keeps it running, keeps it straight. And of course, he's trying now.
And a great call, because he was saying, well, I don't think the tires are bad. He was going to stay out. He was already at the back of the pack. They did bring him in after that and put new tires on, which was a good call.
Now, of course, he's trying for the spin to win.
He's not any better than you. I think you got the edge.
Well, I think it's funny, you know, Tony Kanaan, remember his motto here was patience, work together. Well, you keep seeing Marco popping up alongside. You got Danica and Ryan Hunter-Reay running side by side there. Man. Lindy, you got more with Vitor?
Yeah, I got Vitor, and we talked to the other 2 people involved, so what's your take?
Well, my take is that I just look at the facts. You can even look at the car. That's where I was touched on the side bottom on the front wheel. So that's I think that's the proof right there that I was in front, and I was in front. Inside, it's a left car, and I'm not gonna blame anybody. That's not what we should do here. But I was in front and got hit. I mean, I think that's the bottom line of it, and which is a shame because the ABC car and the AJ Foyt Racing it was one of our best races of the year. So
doing well,
and that's what is a shame. Still, though, we're doing well. We're gonna come back stronger. Still have 2 good races for us here this year, and let's go to the next one.
Not all bad memories here for you, though. You debuted here in 02, and you said you have wonderful memories of that day.
Yeah, I mean, memories you choose which ones you want to remember and the ones you don't. This one I'm going to forget, and the good ones I'm going to remember.
Thank you, Vitor. It was back in 02. He said that was the first time he did the pit stops. It was the first time, Bob, he was wheel-to-wheel out here with the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Yeah. In the top 10 is Paul Tracy in the blue and white car, the Motegi Racing Wheels machine. How about that? And Thomas Schechter's right behind him, and his teammate Bertrand Baguette, who ran so well in the early stages of the race, now running in 12th spot. Without PT, huh?
Well, and again, the mindset for him was to be fairly patient, which is not something that you put in the same sentence with Paul Tracy. It's patience. That just is not historically we do. But he said, hey, I am going to be a little patient, feel out the car, and he's thinking, hey, I'm going to keep tuning it so when I come into the...
Whoa!
There you go.
Oh, okay, loses 2 spots.
He obviously, something happened as he came off of turn 2 there, had to get out of the gas, and we saw Ryan Hunter-Reay blast by on the high side and Danica blast by on the inside.
Wow, man, oh man. Well, just one more note on Ryan Hunter-Reay. With Ryan Briscoe out of the race, Ryan can really rack up some points because he was in a tight battle with Ryan Briscoe for 5th in the point standings. On board with him, that's Ed Carpenter right ahead.
You know, as it does cool down, we'll keep going on board and we'll look at those steering wheels and we'll see how those little rev lights go and just figure out who's got the right gear for these cooler conditions, as we heard from the HPD guy.
So Tony is right behind Ed Carpenter. So the air is being taken off of the car here, and then, anytime you have a car that drops down in front of you, he has to lift. And look at one little lift, and the other cars just, as you said, Robbie, just go by like a slingshot.
Like being shot out of a canyon, as my Good buddy, Eddie Carson. First, second, and third right there, separated by 0.3 of a second. It is Will Power who's looking for his first oval track victory, leading the way over Dan Weldon, Scott Dixon, Dario Franchitti, and Ed Carpenter, the top 5 at Kentucky.
The Kentucky 300 on Versus is brought to you by Peak Performance Products. When you peak, you win. And by Apex Brazil. To learn more about our Brazilian goods and services, log on to experienceourenergy.com.
Feel the excitement? That's Peak Performance. And it's electric.
The fun never stops with the Peak Power inverter. It instantly converts your car's battery power to household power. Great for travel, mobile office, and all-out tailgating. It's easy to hook up. Plug in almost anything. Laptop, cell phone, TV, blender, whatever. Peak inverters turn your car into a party on wheels.
Inside, outside, all around your car. When you peak, you win.
Three-time Indy 500 winner, Elio Castro-Neves. Danica Patrick into the lead, making history. Fans on their feet for the side-by-side action. Dario Franchitti, your series champion.
The IZOD IndyCar Series. Get tickets now. Call 866-INDYCAR or visit IndyCar.com.
I compete with sugarcane ethanol. I compete with sugarcane ethanol.
I compete with sugarcane ethanol.
I compete with sugarcane ethanol.
I compete with sugarcane ethanol.
Ethanol is the fuel we use on every IZOD IndyCar race. Cane ethanol diversifies America's fuel supply.
And it should be in your tank. It's in mine. Learn more about advanced, renewable sugarcane ethanol.
Kentucky Speedway. Welcome back. 117 of 200 laps completed. We're on board with Tony Kanaan, who is running in 8th position. Lost a couple of spots just a few laps ago. Now trying to make them up. As of right now, Dario Franchitti is 43 behind Will Power, and Dixon is 102 behind. You have to be within 106 points of the leader leaving here tonight to remain eligible for the championship. There again are the first two, Will Power and Dan Weldon. Running in 3rd position is Scott Dixon.
And what Weldon wants to do here is stay right behind Power, save fuel, and try and go an extra lap. He didn't do that the first time.
Now he looks to the outside as they come up on Mario Moraes down the backstretch. Yeah, looks like he's going to drop back in behind Will.
Yeah, but he just slots up there. That keeps him in a little cleaner air. As you roll in the corner, he just pops up just halfway. Now he'll tuck back down, save some fuel.
All right, we talked about Scott Dixon being in 3rd. Here's 4th place, Dario Franchitti. His sponsor is Dixie Cup on the side of the car this week. And then behind him is the pole sitter for tonight's race. As we see, Will Power has put another lap on Mario Moraes, and here comes Dan Weldon. And Scott Dixon will also make the pass.
You know, as we're watching all these moves, I don't see a pattern that the high side's better or the low side's better. We're having everybody's looking either low, depending on what the momentum is, or high. There really isn't any consistency of where you have to be to get a pass done.
Talk about Ed Carpenter, who's running in 5th position, then the lap car of Mario Moraes, and then here comes Danica Patrick as we go on board. Ed Carpenter. Here's Danica. She laps Mario Moraes, but Danica's having a great race tonight in 6th spot.
and she just made a move on her teammate for quite a few laps. Obviously, she was side by side with her teammate, Marco Andretti, leaning on each other. Heard some spotter traffic.
Marco is running in 6th. Make that 7th. In 8th position is Tony Kanaan, who started at the back of the field with a poor qualifying result yesterday. There's Ryan Hunter-Reay, who's 9th. And Paul Tracy. Here's a battle for 10th position between Alex Tagliani on the high side and Tracy on the low side.
And 2 drivers who have never been here before.
Yeah, that's right. Paul driving a very consistent race here tonight. All right, Tagliani's in 11th. Bertrand Baguette in 12th place, and he ran very, very well at the start of the race, but has dropped back a bit.
Yeah, he was all the way up to 3rd place, Bertrand was. His teammate for Conquest, Thomas Schechter, we know he's always going to be strong. It's good to see him still running. And Elio, we always saw Elio at that yellow. He was always coming in at the end of it, topping off his tank. A little different strategy than the leaders.
And, of course, he'll be doing that with Alex Lloyd following. He'll be saving fuel, so he won't necessarily be trying to go to the front. And certainly, Alex Lloyd is thankful because in Chicagoland, he spent a lot of time hitting things and getting on pit road. Now things smooth as well for Justin Wilson.
He is running in the 16th position, so the Dreyer and Reinbold cars right now running 10th and 16th is the line designed machine by Justin Wilson. Got quite a bit of racetrack until we get back to the driver who is running in 17th position. There he is, Hideki Muto.
And Muto was all smiles as we saw him kind of sitting on the provisional pole in qualifying. He struggled a little bit last night in the final warm-up, so obviously a fast car for a couple laps in qualifying, but doesn't quite have his balance.
Rafa Matos runs in 18th position for the Farron Dragon Racing.
Does not have his teammate this weekend, Davey Hamilton, who joined him in Chicagoland, and that is a big help when you have 2 cars to drive data from.
And those are the only cars on the lead lap. Here comes Graham Rahal, who once again this week is driving for Sarah Fisher Racing. He is 1 lap down in 19th spot.
And his quote for Graham, he said, hey, the car's working well, but it's just flat out slow. So that's frustrating as a driver, no question about it.
We showed you Mario Moraes a while ago as he was being lapped. He's 20th, Milcaduno 21st, Sarah Fisher is 22nd, and everybody else is out of the race, including Briscoe, Mira, Di Silvestro, Viso, and Sato. Ed Carpenter and Dario Franchitti are side by side for 4th position as the racing continues to be very, very exciting here at Kentucky Speedway, as it always is when the IZOD IndyCar Series visits. Stay with us. You won't miss anything on Nonstop.
I was pretty skeptical at first. I just didn't think I would find something that would last. It's been almost 30 days now, and it's still as great as it was day 1. I think it's pretty safe to say I found the one that I love right here. Oh, excuse me. It's my Miller Lite home draft. I really think that I have something special here.
The Miller Lite Home Draft. Fresh from your fridge for up to 30 days. It's real draft beer with that great Pilsner taste you love. Taste greatness.
Let me just grab those chips. Excuse me.
Does anyone else have to turn up the volume when they eat Wheat Thins? Someone needs to invent crunch-proof headphones. He will be surprised. Tim Parker, do you remember when you tweeted, does anyone else have to turn up the volume when they eat Wheat Thins? Someone needs to invent crunch-proof headphones. Yes. All right, well, guess what, pal? Straight from Wheat Thins Lab. No way. We're going to try this. Ready? Okay. That's a success. Let's roll. Bring it in. Come on, boys. Who's next?
If you're like me, you want maximum protection for your engine. You demand it, and Peak delivers. No matter what you drive or how you drive it, nothing protects better than Peak.
Peak Long Life Antifreeze is formulated with an advanced organic technology to protect any engine of any make, any model, anytime. If you can drive it, Peak can protect it.
Make sure you get Peak protection. When you peak, you win.
Complete opposites in complete harmony. Introducing the Sport Hybrid. The combination only Honda could engineer. The all-new CRZ Sport Hybrid.
Will Power is the leader of the Kentucky Indy 300 with 135 of 200 laps completed. The top 5 are Power, Weldon, Dixon, Carpenter, and Franchitti. Jan Vikas has the recap so far.
And of course, the start started with a bang. Unfortunately, with the changing conditions, quite a few people found that the balance of the car had changed, especially Takuma Sato in the middle there near the back. Big contact on the high side, and amazing, Ryan Hunter-Reay takes avoiding action, lifts off the throttle, it gets pinned, and he manages to keep this a perfect 360, just flat spots the tires, comes to get new ones, and he's back to the races. On lap 11, a lead change between teammates. Ed Carpenter had a little bit of the car loose, got to the middle of the racetrack. Dan Weldon was stronger, he went low, but they pitted early. On lap 60, Power went longer. They have new crews on pit road, so not only did they have fantastic pit work to get him out quickly, they pitted later, took advantage of that, and put Will Power into the lead. Now, on lap number 79, very scary accident for 3 cars. Vitor Mira aggressively goes to the bottom, and look at this contact for Simona De Silvestro. The secondary contact for her was extreme. She comes across, and here, this is a very scary moment. Thankfully, she was okay, as was the heavy contact for Mira, and a long, long crash for Ryan Briscoe, who says he has a heavily bruised foot, but otherwise is A-okay.
And that's where we are so far, with Will Power continuing to show the way. He has led 80 laps. We've had 2 caution periods for 23 laps, 5 leaders and 7 lead changes. The average speed just over 161 miles an hour, Jack.
And the window is open for all pit stops. But I want to show you Will Power and Dan Weldon. Now, they can go as far as 146 and 145. But by my calculations, if I'm Will Power, I want to come in a little bit earlier. I don't want to play the game that close to the vest. That could bring Dan Weldon back into that pit window. Let's check in as Tony Kanana's on his way to pit road, and as is Justin Wilson, and Alex Tagliani has completed his pit stop. So it is about time for us to make pit stops. What I want to watch is when does Weldon come and when does Will Power come.
And here comes Will Power down off the banking and onto pit lane for what should be his final pit stop. Kanan pulls away, so does Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Crucial, these green stops, hitting all your marks.
And Robbie, Will Power is headed toward you.
Clyde Powell's looking at his telemetry up there and said, hey, Will, we might have a wing adjustment. Will Power said, no, guys, I like the way it is right now. So no adjustments on the wing, just tires, waiting for full fuel. And the Will Power All-Stars send him out one more time.
And the fuel seemed to take a little longer, certainly than it did in the early stops. But for Dan Weldon, he did go at least 1 extra lap. And here he comes now on the pit road. That's what he wants to do. And remember, last time, he was the winner on out laps. So he picks it up on the in lap. He's got a shot here. Because I think Power was on pit road a little longer than he is normally. So this is a shot.
Just that little bit he waited on fuel, it seemed. Yep.
Very slowly down pit lane, 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. But here he comes. Dan Weldon's crew goes to work.
Remember, it was 8.9 was what we saw for Power.
And visually, just when we're on board with them, you can see how hard it is to pick out your marks to get by.
That's 9/10 of a second.
Yeah, almost a full second.
So he may be able to beat Power. But Power's fine. Power was up against the wall.
Crushed the wall there.
Wow.
Full tires.
Did he damage the car?
We're still not.
White-walled him.
There's no yellow, so Weldon needs to bust it out, and Weldon should be ahead of Power.
He should.
By a pretty good margin.
He had a faster pit stop. He went longer, and Will Power had trouble. Has Will Power damaged the car? Wow, could that be amazing?
Scott Dixon, he's off pit lane. So a major setback here maybe for Will Power.
still up to speed.
Yep.
Here's what happened.
Turn 3.
Goes to the high side of Andretti. Oh, and he lifts.
He did not hit.
I don't think he hit it. No.
But that just shows you when you get in the high side of this racetrack, you get up in the grooves. Elio's hitting his marks in for service.
Their gamble didn't quite pay. He certainly got a few more laps before his pit stop, but they were hoping.
8.2 seconds.
That's quick. Remember, he lost a lot of track position with his earlier stops.
So, Dan Weldon is the leader. Dario is second, Andretti is third, Kanaan fifth, and Will Power. Kanaan fourth, and Will Power's fifth.
I can't believe Will Power's fifth. I mean, how did he... You can't get any closer than that.
He was rolling kind of the higher side of that racetrack, but just kind of got up in some dirty racetrack, and it just washed up. And part of that, too, is your tires still aren't up to temperature.
Look at Power's out lap, 205. That's incredible. Whoa, look out.
That sums that up, doesn't it?
52 laps to go at Kentucky Speedway. Weldon is out front. Kentucky Speedway in the Eyes-On IndyCar Series, Kentucky Indy 300. It's Weldon, Franchitti, and Andretti running first, second, and third, and Andretti 1 second from Dario. Will Power has come up to fourth, and just a few laps ago, as we look back from Will Power's car to Ed Carpenter, watch this save.
Coming off a 2, looking back there. Now watch the big quick movement. Look how fast that is. He gets out of the throttle, says, whoo, gathered it back up. But there he is. He is challenging right back on the backside of Kanaan. So
it's 4th, 5th, and 6th.
And I think something interesting is happening at the front, and that is that all of the leaders, by my calculations, are 4 laps short to make it to the end of the race.
Wow.
So,
John, you are correct. In fact, already Clive Howell has told Will Power that he needs to save fuel. And for more information on that, let's check in with Clive with Robbie Floyd.
Clive's trying to talk to Will right now. He did tell him to save fuel. Clive, much concern on the fuel right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's real close at the moment. We need a yellow, or we need to try and save some.
How concerned were you? Is there anything wrong with the car? Or was that just an instance of having cold tires when he got squirrely?
Oh, no, he was trying to go by Andretti and got up in the grade. That's why we went back. We're okay now.
I heard you were asking for help from Dan Weldon's team earlier. They denied you in that effort. What do you have to say about that?
No reply.
I asked.
So when we first saw Dan Weldon with the great pit work, and then he was not off to the races, I think that's an indicator that he also got the call, hang on a minute, we're short, and if there's not a yellow, start saving fuel.
But even Jan, I do think, though, that Weldon may be the one that has the advantage. Likewise for Franchitti, by my calculations, they literally could run out of fuel as they cross the finish line with the checkered flag.
There is a big disadvantage when you're leading, though.
But do you save enough fuel to make up 3 or 4 laps? I mean, you're going to have a yellow. I don't think you can save enough just by staying behind somebody and lift to make up that deficit.
Last year, Pico made up 3 laps. They were run 52 laps, and there were a couple people that ran behind someone and drafted, and they made it to 55 laps. But Weldon can't do that when he's leading. He can't back off enough to make it to the end. He will need yellow. But you have somebody back there like a Will Power, he might be able to if he just rode right behind and just lifted off as much as possible.
And being back 4th or 5th in line, if you're following those guys right in front of you, you can probably breathe as much as anything. The problem is you got that guy right behind him, Ed Carpenter, that's going to keep you honest. Say, if you're going to do all that lifting, I'm going to go by you. And
but guys, here's the factor system that you got to remember. These Honda engines this year, every single race, they have made better mileage than the Honda engine made last year. The big question mark, is it enough for all these guys because we're that close?
Right, but Jack, the other factor, of course, is the cooler it is, the more fuel they use. So it is much cooler than last year at this point, so they will use a bit more fuel.
Well, power, we're talking about power having to save fuel. There goes Carpenter on the outside of him. So is that because he's saving fuel and just going backwards, playing that game? You can't get sucked in and say, oh, man, I can't have him pass me and I gas it back up. You got to stick to what it is you have to do to save fuel, period.
And I think what Weldon has to do is do whatever he can to keep the lead, whether he uses fuel or not. If he's in the lead, he's not going to give it up, and he's now saying, come on, baby, we need a yellow.
On board with Will Power, that is Ryan Hunter-Reay up ahead of him, and Danica Patrick is very close to Will on the back end of the car. Down to Robbie Floyd with more fuel strategy. Sorry, Lindy.
Yeah, real quick, Bob, I just went up to John Barnes. He's a little too busy at the moment to talk to us, but I said, are you good on fuel? And Robbie Floyd, he shook his head no.
Yeah. Last week he was saying, hey, you let me worry about that. I want to ask the question to Chip. How good is fuel for Dario Franchitti? How much concern is there?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're going to need a little splash, I think, so I don't know if we can make it the whole way or not.
How about the car? If everybody's on equal terms, do you think this could be a car that can win this race?
Yeah, I mean, the car can win. The car can do it. I mean, we got to see what shakes out here. There's a lot of race to go yet.
Dario Franchitti, maybe a splash and go. Maybe a yellow comes out. There's still plenty of race to go. This is only lap 164 of 200.
Well, we're hearing it from the horse's mouth, though. Everybody seems to think that they're going to have another splash-and-go pit stop if we don't have a caution before this is over.
Pretty consistent across the board of everybody thinking that.
Dan Weldon leads at the moment over Franchitti, Andretti, Kanaan, and Carpenter with 165 laps completed.
The Kentucky Indy 300 on Versus is brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, Forever, and by Izod, the official apparel sponsor of the Izod IndyCar Series, available at Macy's, and by Peak Performance Products. When you peak, you win.
It started with two simple words, and now it's time to join in. Announcing the Claim Your Mazda Summer Sales Event. Enjoy the high resale value of Mazda 3, Mazda 6, the driver's alternative to Camry and Accord, or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9. All available with 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus no monthly payments until November 2010. So why compromise? Claim your Mazda. Offer ends August 31st.
Select Izod IndyCar driver. Driver selected Marco Andretti. Select race transport. Mission finish first. The fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
Feel the excitement? That's peak performance. And it's electric.
Look out. Be sure everybody's safe with the new Peak backup camera system. With the Peak Jump Starter, you don't need another car to jump your dead battery, so there's no waiting. And the fun never stops with the Peak Power Inverter. It instantly converts your car's battery power to household power. Great as a mobile office or for tailgating.
Inside, outside, all around your car. When you peak, you win.
Cleavage, striptease, innuendo, they're all cheap tricks that distract from GoDaddy's award-winning services. We're the #1 domain name registrar in the world. GoDaddy is where TNA stands for Timely Assistance. All right. Whew. It's time to focus on GoDaddy's round-the-clock customer support. So who's ready to paper the town with GoDaddy's new values campaign? Yes! Yeah! All right, yeah! See more now at GoDaddy.com.
Weldon in the National Card Car leads Dario Franchitti for Target Chip Ganassi Racing, running first and second, and we have less than 30 laps to go.
And Bob, all these drivers are hoping for yellow except for one. And that is Helio Castroneves. Remember, he came in, he topped off twice. Yep. They rolled the dice. He pitted 3 laps later.
And that could be enough.
That would be the deal maker for Castroneves.
But Jan, I just checked with Tim Cindric, and I think everybody is just as confused as maybe we are, trying to work the numbers. Checked with him. he shook his hand and said, well, we're going to be that close. Check with Mike. And also Mike Hull with Scott Dixon, because you know how good he is at making fuel. He's not at all happy. They have run the numbers 5 different ways, and he's going to be short a lap too. Let's check in with Robbie.
5 different ways this Sunday, Jack. I've been doing my super sleuth method up and down, and everybody looks like they're going to have a splash and go, except for Rafael Matos. I heard that the number 2 car, if everything keeps going, he's the one car that will not have to splash and go, is the number 2. So watch out. Is today the Dragon de Ferrin Racing? Maybe they take their first win today.
Well, hang on a minute.
Brian Ray is on pit lane.
Matos pitted on 144, which is the same as the leaders, so I'm not sure that's the right call for him.
Well, let's see what happens here as they continue to run very close up front. Tony Kanaan running 4th. There's Danica Patrick and Scott Dixon. Man.
Surprised to see Ryan Hunter-Reay come down. Okay, there's something going on in the right rear. So, you know, he had fuel to stay out there longer. You heard a little lifting right on board there with Carpenter as we're looking off to Tony, and Tony goes by just under that little breeze.
Carpenter has led 10 laps tonight. Marco Andretti. By the way, the 2011 IZOD IndyCar Series schedule is going to be released on Friday, and we urge you to check in with IndyCar.com.
Oh, sorry, Bob. Danica just had a big-time wiggle. Whew, that was a close save.
Didn't lose a spot, though. Well, there we go. Anyway, this date is going to the first weekend of October next year here at Kentucky, but there is an addition of a very popular racetrack, we hear, to the 2011 schedule. Check it out Friday on IndyCar.com. Let's look at that wiggle again by Danica Patrick.
On the low side. Has a car just in front.
Oh, my, yeah.
That got Scott Dixon's attention.
Well, and it was that car that came across her bow that took just the air off of it and just made it move around like that.
All right, 21 laps to go here at Kentucky Speedway. Will Dan Weldon hang on for the win?
Story about a man with a car and a job, a wife and a kid. His name is Bob. Just a regular guy with a regular car, but it's what he rolls on that makes him a star. His Firestone tires are known far and wide. The way they perform gives a sense of pride. That's Bob's story. He ain't no liar, because everybody knows the legends ride Firestone. Legendary drivers need legendary tires.
IndyCar Nation, why aren't you a member yet?
Follow me behind the scenes.
Free timing and scoring. Free live video streaming. New and improved member benefits. The best IZOD IndyCar Series content anywhere.
Visit IndyCar.com. Enjoy IndyCar Nation today.
Only real car guys could have come up with this.
One product that cleans wheels and tires.
Keep your wheels and tires looking great.
Looking great. Looking great.
With foaming all-wheel and tire cleaner from Mothers. Just spray on, hose off, and that's it.
It's really that easy.
A unique spot-free rinse with no need to hand dry.
At Mazda Americas.
At Fuss Design.
At MHT Wheels.
At Pirelli Tire North America.
We all agree.
Nothing performs like Mother's foaming all-wheel and tire cleaner.
We are with you now until the checkered flag. No more commercial breaks. Look at the dry spells that these drivers have had. Andretti has been 66 since he won. Danica Patrick, 45. Rahal, 41. Weldon, 40. Weldon is the leader with 15 laps to go. Dan Weldon has just taken the 2 points, bonus points, from Will Power by leading the most laps. That closes the title chase to 7. How about that? We thought that Will might wrap this thing up well before the end of the season. I don't think that's going to happen.
And guys, one of the things you need to think about with this points chase with Frank Petey now and Will Power, if they all have to pit, you know, this is what we talked about in terms of the strategy. Will Power's got to have a perfect pit stop because he doesn't want to be down to just 7 going to Japan. Meanwhile, Elio Castroneves has just been told by Tim Cindric, whatever you do, don't pass anybody. Just make mileage.
And he just slowed down 3 miles an hour, now 4 miles an hour. The leaders are going 216. Castroneves just did 209. He is going to go to the end, and he's going to try to make it. Castroneves, if there's not a caution.
I think he will.
Wow. Lindy.
Here with Jill DeFere. And Jill, what's your fuel situation now?
Well, we came in at the end of the yellow to try to stretch it to the end, but we're not making good enough mileage, so I don't think we'll be able to get to the end.
What's he been saying?
I mean, unfortunately, we don't have a good car this weekend. We're not running so fast, so it's just been a race of survival for us. Try to stay on the lead lap. We just lost a lap, so we try to make it to the end on fuel, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work at it. So we're just going to tough it out to the end of the race.
We'll let you get back to him. Thank you, Joe.
Rafael Matos a lap down in 17th position. Dan Weldon, what a bit of a comeback he has had. He was on his head 2 races ago in Sonoma. He came back last Saturday night to finish 2nd, and here he is leading. We're on board with the 4th place car of Ed Carpenter. That's Kanan up on the high side of the racetrack, and Dario and Weldon ahead.
And we're only a couple laps away from when they may need their splash.
And those onboard shots that we see that we're on board with Kanan and then Carpenter, you can see the lights go up on their dash. It looks like Kanan really is geared quite perfectly the way the lights just light up, and he doesn't get into the limiter, which there we're looking at it right now. So just watch the lights on the top of his wheel. We get another shot. Oh, look, he's coming in.
Here we go. Here's the first cycle.
Look at the rotors. Did you see the rotors glow? So he just hammered those brakes as you come down.
This is a disadvantage that he pits first. You want to pit last, but this stop will be so quick. They're just going to need just a splash, just and out.
Slowly down pit lane.
His former teammate, Castroneves, is looking good right now.
Yeah, but you got to take everything you can coming down that pit road. So, I mean, you just saw those rotors just all of a sudden just glow as he went to the last possible place, really, to break deep on that pit road in turn 3.
All right, TK the first to flinch and come in for the pit stop.
And anybody else?
Ready is way high off of the second corner. Nope, nobody's coming in. And we only have 6 laps to go at the line.
All these cars should have to stop.
Well, I guess you could say there's Paul Tracy.
Yep.
But I guess you could say is at least when Kanan came in, he was coming in by himself. He didn't have to fight anybody else as he was coming down that pit in. Nobody checked him up, anything like that. Just, I mean, the most subtle of things.
Danica Patrick also is in for a splash and go. But up front, it's still Weldon, Franchitti, and Carpenter.
When you pit, you lose a lap and change. So if Castroneves does not have to...
Oh, both of them. Carpenter stays out, but Weldon and Franchitti come in. Ed Carpenter remains on the racetrack. Here's Dan Weldon on pit lane.
And the last lap for Elio was 207 miles an hour.
Wow.
He's going to make sure he gets to the end, because all these cars right now will lose nearly a lap and a half because of this 60-mile-per-hour speed limit.
So he's safe going 207 miles an hour is about a mark.
If you're going 206 and these people are going 60, you can see why that's a huge advantage.
It's very quick splashes of fuel, and away they go.
And that was Tony Kanaan that was just crossing the start-finish line. So let's see where he lines up relative to those guys that were just taking on fuel. There goes Power. He was in 8th position at the time of that.
So Elio Castroneves is the leader of the race.
TK with some momentum. Remember, Franchini's just coming out, and he's going to get that pass done.
There he is. So can he make it?
Coming down with 2 more laps to go.
He did this in 2008 and ran out of fuel rolling through turns 3 and 4, and Dixon went by him. It was a great call because he really didn't have a car to win earlier than that, and they tried to go longer than anybody, and it still got him on the podium.
It'll be a long 3 miles for Elio Castroneves.
And Tim Cindric just told him on the radio, Elio, you're okay.
Here is the white flag. 1 more lap to go.
Robbie, you called it that. Before they ever rolled off, Robbie said, I have a feeling that Castroneves is going to roll the dice.
Wow. Quite a race in terms of strategy and racing on the track. Patience, experience, and fuel strategy pay off as Elio Castroneves records another victory in the 200th IZOD IndyCar Series race. It happens at Kentucky Speedway. And now, there's Tim Cindric. Elio wins. Ed Carpenter finishing 2nd. Dan Weldon is 3rd. Then Kanaan, Franchini, Andretti, Dixon, Power, Patrick, and Bertrand Baguette finishes 10th. How about that? Elio Castroneves is in victory lane. Let's talk to Tim.
Well, Tim, Elio said it best. You're the genius in this.
Well, sometimes fate decides this deal, but, it was our chance tonight. Obviously, we didn't execute on one of our pit stops, and you got to try and make the most of it and try and figure out, how not to quit. And Elio's the guy that, he's always the guy that figures out how not to quit.
Evidently, when you kept coming around, I heard that you didn't think you got the wheel nut possibly on, so you brought him back in again, kept topping off, so an accident might have saved your night.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly put us in a position where we felt like we had to finish the race, in a safe way. And obviously calculated the fuel. Here it is.
Congratulations.
And you all know what's next. Spider-Man is about to strike. And the fans are going to love it. Here's Elio up on the fence.
I'm telling you, this guy is magical. He did a Racing for Kids visit. We went to Cincinnati Children's Hospital on Thursday. Yep. He makes everybody feel special. Yep. He's got a knack.
He is an incredibly talented driver. He's a great ambassador for the open wheel racing in the United States, and tonight it pays off.
Oh, and he gets a hug. He's giving a hug. Yes. He gets fined $60,000 for grabbing his collar, and now he's giving him a hug.
It actually would have been fun if he just would have grabbed his collar for old time's sake right there. Wouldn't it have been say, hey, Charles, I really love you.
That is Charles Burns, and does a great job with the security for the IZOD IndyCar Series. Ed Carpenter finishes 2nd for the 2nd year in a row here at Kentucky, but this driver has given it quite a ride this weekend, winning his first peak pole position and coming home in 2nd place. Don't forget, we have live football coming up at the top of the hour in about 25 minutes from right now. We have lots of interviews to bring you, including the Victory Lane interview with Elio Castroneves, who wins here at Kentucky.
Impressive. Call or click today.
Elio has won the race. He's climbed the fence, but he hasn't made it to victory lane yet, so he's making another lap to get there. He's got enough gas to get there. That's good. All right, well, a great race here tonight, and good strategy played out by the Team Penske crew with Tim Cindric as Elio records his 2nd win of the season. He also won at Barber. It's his first win here at this facility, and his 24th career open wheel win moves him into a tie with Bobby Rahal and Scott Dixon for 15th on the all-time list.
Well, it shows that you never give up in terms of creating yourself opportunity for strategy. When they were at the back of the pack and they kept topping off there, you still didn't know how it was going to play out. Tim Cindric didn't know what was going to happen, but you're creating the opportunity. Give yourself that possibility, and this is how it turned out.
As soon as they knew that all those leaders had to stop, then they just throttled back as much as they needed to make it. Like we said, 206, 205. Who cares if people are going 60 miles an hour having to stop on pit road, as long as you can bring it home. He does another lap, and a little bit of a wheel spin and a donut there. He still has ethanol to go.
Yep. So he could have been running 211 mile an hour laps there, and not 207 mile an hour laps.
He didn't need to.
Darn, that was funny how he grabbed Charles after what we saw at Edmonton. That was just fantastic.
And you know, you only take this kind of risk when you're in trouble. You couldn't do that if you were Ed Carpenter. You had to run at the front. But for him, he took a huge gamble, and it paid.
It certainly did pay off. Well, Izod salutes a winning performance with Izod Victory Lane, and here is Lindy Thaxton.
Elio Castro Neves, they're taking the steering wheel off, waiting to get the helmet off and get him out of here. As you saw, he was already Spider-Man this evening, and he pulls here into Victory Lane, having won the 200th race. We saw he had a pit stop problem earlier. We're going to pull him out of here so we can grab him. You ready, Elio? Come on out of here, Elio. First of all, congratulations on this win, Elio. You had a pit stop problem earlier. All right. Awesome, he's happy. I'm going to have to chase this guy all around this place, I think. All right, I've had it. We're getting him. I just pushed T.O. out of the way. Can you believe? Oh, my gosh. This is Terrell Owens, in case you all don't know.
I was watching. You feel like 147. This guy, I don't know what he does. He's just say feel like...
He got a ride, you know.
I heard it. Did you enjoy your ride? Oh, yeah, loved it. Loved it.
I didn't see you blink one time.
He said one lap was enough for him.
Oh, man, that was awesome. I wish I could have gone one more time just to ask the fella. Congratulations, buddy. Thanks so much, Stephen.
All right, man of the hour. Okay, you had a pit stop problem, but Tim Cindric said this is the man here who figures out how to keep us out of trouble and what to do. What did it take?
You shouldn't actually interview me. You should interview that guy, because that guy... Okay, good. Let me tell you, when he started talking, unfortunately had a little issue on the pit stop, and things happen for a reason, you know. I mean, we don't know, we're running good. Maybe not the fastest car, but we're running good, you know, and all of a sudden we had an opportunity to try something, and he said it. We don't have much to lose, and we had it once, actually, 2009 or 8, I don't remember, 2008, we actually ran out of fuel. I'm like, please, just don't let this happen again. But he said, just make the mileage. I started doing the same thing what I did in 2008. It paid off this time.
Yeah, we were laughing because everyone else had to pit, but you had enough fuel to even pull up here.
No, exactly. I mean, it's still running, and that's good news. But in the end of the day, I mean, I'm sorry about what happened to Ryan. I don't know. I didn't see what's going on, but I know all the three guys, you know, working together. And today, this group number 3 deserve it, you know. I mean, we have so many injured guys on the pit stop, and these guys doing everything they can, and I'm just so thankful for God to give me this one.
Hey, by the way, the last time we saw you with Charles was in Edmonton. Clearly, y'all made up.
Well, you saw that, you know. Apparently, we didn't have nothing, and there was no problem between us, and I like to see him that way, certainly. And again, what a great thanks for Verizon, obviously Team Penske, Honda, and you know, everyone from the organization, the shop. Guys, this was a good one. It was kind of like rolling the dice, but this guy, he's the gambler. You know, he likes to do it, and he did a great job.
Helio Castroneves wins the 200th race. Robbie?
With the men who finished second and third, Vision Panther and Panther Racing respectively, Ed, 2 years in a row. Is that a plus, or you look back going, man, I was that close again?
I don't know. This one's, I think, more disappointing because we were so strong all weekend. You know, the whole team, myself and Dan had a dominant car today. You know, it's tough. It's tough when you're in our position right now to have a guy win on fuel mileage because we had great cars all weekend, and I think we showed that. So I think we should be proud that there's 2 Panther cars on the podium, though.
You showed how you could work your way back up. Had another tough, just like Helio Castroneves, had a tough pit stop, and you worked your way back up to second.
Yeah, we made a pretty big wing change at first stop. We were loose, and I think that slowed us down. You know, dropped back pretty far, but you know, just took the whole race, stayed calm, battled back, and got the Fuzzies car back up front. So it took a while, but we got back up.
2 more races left in this year. Next year, you looking forward? I mean, these are the kind of finishes that get you sponsorship for next year, maybe.
Yeah, I'm hoping someone's paying attention.
Everybody who's paying attention at home, Dan, come over here. You finished in the top 3. Great finish there, but it looks like somebody kicked you in the stomach.
Yeah, just I really, like Ed said, the whole Panther Racing team have worked extremely hard on the National Guard car and the Fuzzies vodka car, and you know, I really thought after I beat Dario out the pits, I mean, my guys did a fantastic job in the pits all night, and when I got Dario out there, I thought, you know, we had it, but you know, that's the way racing goes. You know, really proud of everybody in the National Guard Panther Racing team, and you know, I said we did a video conference earlier today with some of the troops overseas, and you know, hopefully they were watching, smiling. I know a lot of the you know, the troops out there were smiling, and all the troops that we have here in the U.S.
Look at this. Look how close you were to Will out there. I mean, you were powering, you were on the throttle all day.
I got to find a job for next year, so you know, I always try hard, and you know, fortunately we've hit a really good patch. I think bringing Ed on board has made a huge difference, and obviously I want to stay around in the IndyCar series, but you know, things are great, and I love these races. You know, I love representing the people that I represent, and just you know, just bum we lost that one, but we'll come back strong at Motegi. That's a great racetrack. I have a lot of fun memories there through my relationship with Honda, and you know, we're expecting big things. So.
And everybody can watch it right here on Versus. Let's go to Jackaroo.
Down here with Will Power, and Will, you and I were talking about the fact that it wasn't the fuel issue. It was really when you had that close moment, you know, up there in the corner. What happened there?
Well, yeah, I came up on a back marker, and I think there's a little bit of oil down from that crash. Yeah, it just washed straight up towards the wall. And I thought I was done then, and you know, that's when I lost a lot of position. And then I lost more. I sort of went into fuel save mode, wasn't quite as aggressive because you can see that we had a splash at the end. But yeah, man, we're gonna get it one day. You know, we left plenty of laps, and yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, but guys, he's still on top in the points. It's just narrowed down a little bit.
Yeah, in fact, Will led 82 laps here, and he does maintain the points lead, but it's a very slim margin now over Franchitti, and Dixon Castroneves will be mathematically eligible for the championship. But Helio did win here tonight in a very, very exciting on the track, and a lot of pit strategy being used to win the race here tonight. All right, Lindy is with Dario Franchitti, who finished 5th.
Yeah, Dario, first of all, what do you feel about your night?
Up and down, up and down. The start was pretty horrible, but him down at the front, the inside there. But managed to work my way up top 5 in that first stint. The Dixie car seemed good in traffic, but wasn't quite quick enough to hang with the guys in front without, you know, really being close in the draft. They got exciting there. We had some good stops in that last one, the second last one. We got up and running second behind Dan, and I thought this was looking good. But then they said Helio can make it on fuel, and obviously Ed could too. We lost one spot in the last splash with Tony, but overall not a bad night. You know, big picture, we gained some spots on.
Yeah, you're only 17 away now. 17 points.
Well, we've only got 2 races left to do it, so you know, we're just doing the best we can. It wasn't a case of focusing where Will was tonight. It was just going and doing the best we possibly could, and 5th was the best we had tonight.
Okay, Dario, thank you.
Thank you.
Over to Robbie with TK.
I have TK, and again, 2 weeks in a row. Seen a smile on your face. You said you just wanted to survive. Did you survive?
Yeah, we survived pretty well. I got to apologize to all my Twitter followers that I promised I was going to pass 11 cars at the first lap, and it was only 10. So
I'll try. Slacker.
Yeah, I know. I got to get my game together.
The boys are laughing up there. It has to be nerve-wracking, though, for you to have to work your way up through the field. Motegi moving to that. You going to get this thing dialed in qualifications?
Robbie, I think the day that I start in the top 5, I'm going to feel so lonely that I don't even know if I'm going to be able to start the race. So, I don't know. I hope we can do a better job in qualifying because although it's fun to start back there, I want to start a little bit further up.
How squirrely was it? I mean, you had all three your other teammates around you at one time. You had to lift one time. Somebody, took air off of you. I mean, there were some close moments.
Yeah, I mean, Ed actually came complain about me, which I want him to watch the tape before he says anything, but we'll square that out. And with that chop, I lost 3 positions, but we had a consistent car. I knew the position that I started at. I chose a level of downforce that I knew it was going to be really tough for me to win the race. I wanted it to survive. Top 4 finish. I mean, it could have been a podium, but, yeah, here you go. That wasn't a chop, huh? Yeah, right.
The boys had your back, though. They called it like they saw it.
No, like I said to Ed, with all fairness, I want you to go, watch the tape, and we talk about it afterwards.
Hey, it's different when you're in the race car, and those rearview mirrors are on the sides.
I mean, all fairness. Ed, nothing against you, brother. Watch the tape, and we're all cool. You did a great job, by the way, this weekend.
CK, another top 5, guys.
Yep, finishes in 4th position. And Dario Franchitti was our pit performer, Firestone pit performers of the race. Total time on pit lane, 1 minute, 59 seconds. A visit to Versus College Football Central in a moment. Terrell Owens, he rode in the car before the race started. He stayed the entire race, and now he is asking for autographs on his football helmet. I love it. Way to go, T.O. All right, here are the results. Elio Castro-Neves wins. Ed Carpenter equals his best career finish of 2nd from here a year ago. Weldon, 4th top 10 finish on an oval this year, and Baguette also had his best career finish. His previous best was 11th at Mid-Ohio. And there is the rest of the finishers here at the Kentucky Speedway with Takuma Sato out on the very first lap due to an accident. Now, the points, top 4 still alive in the points chase. Elio could stay alive, but just barely. And this is the 5th closest points battle with 2 races to go in the history of the IZOD IndyCar Series. And, Robbie, that was rather surprising to me. I mean, we talked about how power might wrap this thing up, but we've got a real battle going now to the last 2 races.
Well, we saw Dario did close it up, and everybody said, oh, Will, aren't you nervous going into these last 4 races being ovals when that's not your thing? Well, yeah, the black and white results don't look good for Will. But if you watch Chicago, you watch here, that boy knows how to drive these ovals, and he's going to be just fine.
And with a couple races left, just a quick note on strategy. And the basic rule is when you have a fast car, don't take chances. When you don't have a fast car, roll the dice. And boy, Castro-Neves showed that pay today.
That was a really great strategy used by Team Penske to put Elio Castro-Neves in victory lane here tonight. Let's go to Jack Arute.
And the guy that has to put it all on the line is known as the DAG guy, the data acquisition guy. And I'm with Justin Horning, who is the DAG guy for Elio Castro-Neves. How tight were you when you said to your boss, yeah, we can make it?
Well, initially we were pretty tight. Tim's the man when it comes to making lemonade out of lemons. So, at the end we ended up being able to do some burnout, so we saved enough for that, right?
You got a big smile on your face, but there were tense moments because you have to convince him that, hey, we're going to be okay, and if he'd run out of fuel, it'd have been on your shoulders.
Oh, there's not a whole lot of convincing. He asked what it took to make it, and I told him what it took to make it, and he passed that on to Elio, and Elio did an awesome job of saving it, and also saving it up to make it the victory lane. So it was a great day.
Hey guys, it was a great day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good, exciting race and great strategy that took Elio to victory lane. Well, coming up next here on Versus Mountain West Football, Wisconsin at UNLV. Join us in 2 weeks, Saturday, September 18th at 11 o'clock Eastern for the Indy Japan 300. IZOD, the official apparel sponsor of the IZOD IndyCar Series, available at Macy's. For more information on the IZOD IndyCar Series, log on to Versus.com. Congratulations to Elio Castro-Neves, who wins here tonight. For Jan Beekes, Robbie Buell, Jack Arute, Robbie Floyd, and Lindy Thaxton, I'm Bob Jenkins. See you in 2 weeks.